quit going around in circles. Are we up? Okay. May I be the first to say TGI? Thank goodness it's Friday and it's cloudy. Good morning. I'm Rayford Brown.
I'm Kelly Knapp.
Good morning. I'm Lee Barrows.
And so it's starting off to be an interesting day. YouTube was again slow, and those little circles that go round and round and round when you try to start it up, and it doesn't want to start. There's always a challenge.
Very aggravating.
Kick it
sometimes.
off, kick it in the butt, and start all over again.
Depending on the internet, can be very challenging at times.
Yeah. Well, we have some challenging things from time to time, but it's okay. Things are going to get better too. We're working on a bunch of things. I had a very lengthy call yesterday. Two of them, in fact, a telephone call first, and then a Zoom. So I got Zoomed for the first time ever.
Oh, you have Zoom finally?
I've never been Zoomed before.
Oh, wow.
Well, he sent me a link, and I clicked on it, and then there we were. We were chatting away, and he was showing me stuff and whatever. But he's in India, so I said that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
we're Zooming in India.
You said Zoom. You would be happy to know, Kelly, I have finished my last duty with the 3rd District Congressional Republican Party.
Woo! So now you're becoming a Democrat.
No, I'm just like, I'm going to work for candidates, but I'm staying away from all those
She's
others.
tired of romper room. Is what it boils down to.
I said, Kelly, be proud of me.
I'm very proud of that. Proud of you for
politics, and politics to the left of me and to the right of me, and
it will wear you out.
Listening on one of the chit chat rooms this morning, they call them rag chair rooms. Some guys all get together at different times, just show up at the same time every day and chat for a while and move on, go to their work or get some food or do something. But anyway, one of the guy was talking about, hams, by the way, this is on amateur radio. Hams, by the way, are generally, I would say, of the 500,000 or so that are in this country, probably 96% of them are conservatives. They lean pretty conservative. They're a different breed of people.
All right.
So it's one of them this morning was talking about, he's talking about Trump, and not bad, but he's just talking about, was hoping things. We were all hoping things would happen, and then some other stuff, some setbacks here, some setbacks there. And another guy came on. He says, "Yeah," he said, "but it's kind of like Ronald Reagan."
Wow.
The Reagan economics, the Reaganomics when they first came out. He said, "I recall, and I hadn't thought about it, but I recall also that was a major change in the direction of the country when he came aboard, right?"
Right.
When all of those guys at the air traffic controller decided those in the union decided we're going to strike. Oh no, you're not. You're fired. Bring in the next string, and they worked things out that way. But I mean, it was a drastic thing. Everybody was saying, "Oh, we can't fly anymore. The airport's going to shut down. No airlines are going to be flying." No, that didn't happen. But the fear when Reagan took over. You were still pretty young and non-political at that time, right?
Oh, very much so.
Yeah.
I would say not overly. Well, it's a long story. So we'll just go yes, so I don't have to tell a tale and say things.
Anyway, the other guy said, I remember back then, and he had all these things. It's only been 2 months, folks, as he put it, and things are changing. And we're just going to have to wait and see. And he's probably not going to be eligible for a 3rd term. He said, I can remember when Arnold Schwarzenegger, the people out there on the West Coast, they were going to run him for president, but they knew he couldn't be elected under the current rules, so they wanted to change the rules. He wasn't born here.
No, he wasn't born here.
They were going to change the effort was to change the rules, and he said, that wasn't going to happen. You're going to hear a bunch of hype, and you'll hear the media jump up and down and start hyping. He said, we all need to kind of sit back and see what happens. Nothing is going to happen overnight. Rome was not built in a day.
Nope. 2 days.
At least.
Yeah.
But things like that, it does. And I started, that's when I stopped. I had to kind of stop some time ago. The daily stupidity, the this, the that, the back and the forth. I hate you. Oh my God, we're done. It's all over. And then there's all the hype.
It's almost like divorce court.
Can you imagine
Yeah.
during the Reagan
Okay.
years if there had been a 24-hour a day, 7-day-a-week news cycle?
Oh Lord, no.
And that, to me, is
Well-
still one of the biggest problems that we have in this day, because the news changes by the second.
But it wasn't it during the Reagan term that CNN came out. I'm almost positive.
It was.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But that
was like a luxury because it was on cable. It wasn't on regular TV.
Well, they
Yeah.
were all on cable, but it was on. They're still on cable, or satellites. But anyway, yeah. But it was sort of still like
It was
we're
a
gonna get
new
our feet
thing.
wet, but it was a news operation.
I remember my grandpa was all about it. I mean,
Yeah.
only because he's all about news and need news from the world.
I used to watch CNN way back
Well, I
in
did
the
too
day.
back in the day when they acted right.
Mm-hmm.
1980,
cool.
Kelly,
Yeah.
June 1st,
So I
1980.
thought it was during, I remember it.
It's
Yeah, I used to always
But
watch.
it was Rafe was right. It was now MTV is not MTV anymore.
No, I don't know what they
News
are.
is not news anymore.
Right.
It's news. Sometimes news is even like a talk show.
Yeah, it is. Well, too often it is.
Yeah,
like a talk show.
it's so annoying.
Y'all quit. They need to quit competing with talk radio.
I agree.
They need to go and do the freaking
Mhm.
news and let us do the baloney.
I agree with you.
Who was the media mogul that started CNN?
Ted Turner.
Oh, Ted Turner.
Ding, ding,
And-
ding,
on-
chicken dinner, Kelly. Yeah.
on the TV station that he had down
Right.
in Atlanta.
Mhm.
Right.
It became known as WTBS,
Mhm.
Turner Broadcasting
Yes,
System.
yes.
But before that, actually, it was up on a satellite, and cable stations all over the country were carrying it. Forgot the call letters, but it was not WTBS.
Huh.
Hmm.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I
And then they had that one guy on there that came in at nighttime, 10 o'clock or 10:05, because they had a
Mhm.
strange schedule.
Yeah, they did. I always
5
thought that
minutes
was
after the
weird.
hour. So
Yeah.
I think they did that because, okay, well, you start
It's trying to
watching
be
the other
different.
program, and then you get tired of that in just a couple of minutes, so switch on over.
Yeah.
And it was a brilliant move.
It was.
I
I
had to look to see if he's still alive. He is 86 years of age.
He is still alive?
Yeah,
I didn't know that. You don't hear anything about him anymore.
Why would you? He's rich and doing
Oh, I
nothing.
agree with that.
Net worth 2.79 billion.
Yeah.
That is of April 1st
That's a
of
cool net
this
worth.
year.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, that was some of the stuff, and they did a funny news at nighttime. I remember that whatever they got, Hackett or
Mhm.
Ted something. It was Ted, but whatever. What was that guy's name? He went on to do bigger and better things, but anyway, he did a nightly newscast, and one night they were talking about right in the middle of his newscast, because they were always playing jokes with him. They turned all the lights out in the studio. He took his big lighter out.
No, he
I
didn't.
know.
Flicked
I
it on.
love it.
He flicked it on and started holding it up there, and you could barely make out what was going on.
Not Bernie Shaw.
No,
I liked
He
him,
was
though.
on CBS.
He was
NBC, I
CNN.
forgot. But
I
yeah,
looked it up. Yeah, he
Okay.
started in 1980.
but anyway, he had this cigarette lighter, and he read the news right from the copy. Forget the electronics, forget the teleprompters, forget all that stuff. He just did the news. It's the way it worked. So
Wow.
different days and different times.
And who was Ted Turner once married to?
Oh, Fonda.
it.
We don't like to say that. Yeah.
El Traitor.
All right, y'all done
El
good.
Traitor.
Yeah.
Pretty day around here, but some ugly times over in Beaufort.
I'm gonna tell you what.
An investigation underway after 4 inmates in the Carteret County Jail suffered an overdose of fentanyl on
Yeah.
Tuesday night. Narcan was given to the inmates. Then they were taken to the hospital for treatment. The preliminary investigation shows one person brought the drugs into the jail. A total of 6 inmates have been charged with drug violations, including possession with intent to manufacture, sell, and delivery of fentanyl, possession of a controlled substance on prison or jail premises.
Somebody in
Serious
trouble.
charges, y'all. Bonds for the 6
Yes.
people on the drug charges came to a cool $100,000 each. That's in addition to whatever they were in there for in the first place.
I have a lot of questions.
Not guilty by reason of insanity is not going to be an effective plea in this case, and being stupid is not an extenuating circumstance either.
It's probably a contributing factor.
Yes,
Okay.
very much so.
Not an extenuating circumstance.
Not at all.
Very much so.
Jail is not a nice place. Everything is running smoothly. When it's running smoothly, it's not nice.
Mhm.
I can imagine the things in that jail, in the Carteret County Hotel, even for the good people, are going to be tough for a while.
Well, don't
It's
you know?
going to be tightened up time. Oh my
And I imagine there's a
God.
huge internal investigation going on right now.
Oh yeah,
too.
well they got yeah.
I
Don't
read
want to
that,
be there.
and I'm like, dumb.
Yep. Over in New Bern, the fourth shooting in a week happened Tuesday night. Shootings that resulted in 3 people hurt and 1 killed so far. The latest happened at an apartment. The apartment manager said that bullets went through 3 apartments Tuesday. The victim was taken to a hospital. No arrests have been made. I don't know. New Bern, come on. What is going on? You're trying to take over the hot spot of the state or the eastern part of the state?
They've even put up those gunshot sensors out there now. Don't they have that where they?
I don't know whether
Yeah,
they have
they've
them in New
done.
Bern or
Yeah,
not.
they did that, and because of the gang. I'm gonna tell you what. I mean, I don't.
How do things happen in
Don't bring it.
towns that have been like that are not like that anymore? Jacksonville used to be sort of a heyday.
Let's not talk
Jacksonville
about
had a whole lot of people in it that were not residents of Jacksonville or North Carolina. They were,
Right.
brought in, but they weren't the criminals.
Yeah.
But they were having to take up a lot of time with the law enforcement because of typical things that young
Right.
people. But crime was kind of running amok back in the day.
I would say
My
so.
God.
Yes,
The
New
number-
Bern's been in the news a
The
lot
number
lately.
of murders that I had to
Right.
go to, the shootings, the break-ins, the violence back in the 70s, horrendous. But then it's changed.
I would say between Craven and Carteret, they've had
They have.
a lot happening over the last 6 months or more.
I know over the past 4 or 5 years, we've been talking a lot about Lenore County. They were having shootings there,
K-Town.
and we don't. Either it's not happening or it's not getting the coverage.
I
that it
think it's
used to.
not getting the
I'm not
coverage.
sure which.
Yeah,
But
that could
New
be.
Bern, a historic city. Why? What happened here? I can't blame law enforcement. I know the sheriff over there, and I know his chief deputy. I've known the chief deputy for quite a while, and I know they're working in the county pretty hot and heavy. But I don't know anything about the city law enforcement. Somebody needs to do something. Whether it needs to be a change of direction, change of attitude, or where, this is where I would go for some help. The citizens, y'all need to quit complaining and start helping. They complain about what I was reading, guns, we got too many guns. We got that. No, you got too many bad people. And they get access to guns. You're going to have access to guns. So forget about that. Stop the bad people. Put them in jail. Run them out of town. Remember when you used to be able to run people out of town on a rail? Tar and feather them, get them out of the area?
No, it's a little bit before my time. A little bit.
No, it wasn't. It was happening in the 60s even. You got tired of people that were just constantly giving you problems. You sent them away. Here's the county line. Don't come back. That's the way things were going. Coming up at 7:30-ish this morning, we're going to have Anthony Prince going to be joining us in here from the city of Jacksonville. He's an assistant city manager.
His main job is he's the director of the transportation services for the city of Jacksonville, and he's also one of the assistant managers for the city of Jacksonville. He was appointed that in January of 2025.
Now, what we're going to be talking about,
One
something-
city center.
yeah.
Was that one? Is that right? One city center.
There's Uptown Jacksonville Master Plan, and then there is, got to get the paper
One
right side
city
up.
center.
One
That's
city
it.
center. That's an interest. That we've got the little layout of this stuff.
That's going to be huge. This is the projected civic center, et cetera, et
Yep.
cetera. They're putting over in Williamsburg.
They ain't doing nothing about stuff anymore around here. They are moving forward, so that's a good thing.
Yes.
Looking
Jim,
forward to it.
I'm assuming those looks like outdoor.
I think that's this is a conference center.
conference
Yeah,
center. I see that.
I think it's gonna take care of all our needs. And over here is an amphitheater, outdoor amphitheater. So yeah, we're gonna hear all about it this morning.
There's a judge who's really ticked at the Trump administration. One guy named Judge James Boasberg. He's a U.S. district judge. yesterday grilled Trump administration lawyers over whether they defied a court order blocking deportations under a wartime immigration law, a potential step toward holding the administration in contempt of federal court. Ellsberg said he will look at all of the evidence and rule on a possible contempt charge next week. This judge, who may feel he's in the right and has the power to take action in this case, may want to get some guidance from higher ups before moving too far forward. I can't, nor I won't say that he's wrong. Okay, that's one. Judge's rule. Trump's executive orders to remove illegal aliens from the United States, does that have precedence dating back a couple hundred years? That's what Trump maintains. Those exiled had no legal right to be in the United States. Any number of them have committed crimes on U.S. soil since they've been here illegally. In the opinions of a lot of smarter people who are a lot closer to this whole issue than you or me, see them as a danger to the rest of us. I can't disagree with that thought process, that diagnosis. That's the way I feel as well. Just take a look at the murders and rapes that have occurred at the hands of any number of illegals. Many of those are members of vicious and dangerous gangs. Why should we, the people that the government is supposed to protect, want to be subjected to the threats of death or more? Honestly, the way liberal judges and politicians are leaning, those thugs may be safer in any South American jail than they will be on the streets of the United States if we, the people, get so scared that we take the law into our own hands. That is what this judge and others need to consider before deciding we cannot send them, that the president and the company cannot send them out of the country. I have no problems with deporting them, as long as we have an understanding with them that if you come back here, it's not going to be pretty. It's going to be really, really ugly.
Right.
And we do need them to understand that it will be ugly for them should they come back here.
Exactly, yes.
So, anyway. Orky dorky. I guess take a look at the weather, because out there in Arkansas and stuff, it's been really on the very nasty side.
It has been.
And we got some mess coming our way, which Kelly, I'm sure, will be talking about as well. Offshore today, out to 20 nautical miles, southwesterly winds 10 to 15 knots, seas 3 to 4 feet, sounds and rivers of moderate chop. Tomorrow, pretty much the same thing, 3 to 4 footers. Sunday, kicking up just a little bit. Saturday is going to be your last day that you should be venturing out, and I'd suggest that you come in before sundown, get back ashore and safe ground. Sunday, southwesterly winds 20 knots, gust to 25, seas 4 to 6 feet, sounds and rivers are going to be choppy. Water temperature still on the rise. In the surf up and down the beaches here in North Carolina along the coastal area south of Cape Lookout, going to be pretty close to about 63, 64 degrees. One point we were listening this morning, water temperature was 72 degrees off Cape Hatteras, about 15, 18 miles offshore.
I like it.
So anyway, fishing is going to be good when the weather settles down, but right now we may have a problem, right?
Well, yes. Today it will be mostly sunny, a high of 87. We will have winds 7 to 10 miles an hour with 17-mile-an-hour gusts. Tonight, mostly cloudy, low of 64. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high of 85, and we're still going to have those gusts. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy, low of 66, and believe it or not, overnight gusty. And then on Sunday, when things start to pick up, mostly sunny, high of 85, but the winds are going to start to increase 11 to 15 miles an hour with 24-mile-an-hour gusts. Then overnight, Sunday night, the clouds start to roll in with a low of 64 and then a 40% chance of rain. But it's going to rain all day Monday.
Yeah.
And it's going to rain Monday night.
I hope we
We're going to
get
have some cooler
several
temperatures
inches.
next week, too.
And then Tuesday, it'll be 64 and then 63. So it's going to be in the 60s Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
But the rain, I would not bother washing my car this weekend, because if
I'm
you
not
do,
washing
it'll look good
anything.
for a day. But Monday, it's going to rain. So then it just
Just
look
park
gross
it
again.
outside. It'll take care of it.
That's
Yeah,
right.
that's what I'm
The,
saying, yeah.
Yeah, and one of the nights that I heard, where is that thumping coming from?
I don't
You
hear
hear it?
anything.
No?
In your ears.
No.
Okay. It's not on my mic. Not coming there. Not coming on Kelly's mic.
I don't hear a thing.
I don't hear a thump.
You don't hear that?
No.
I just heard that. Well, you just thumped
I
something.
didn't touch a
You
thing. Hear it? No, it's gone.
I don't hear
It'll
anything.
be back. Okay,
Freaking
I'm
me
hearing
out.
things. I'm seeing things. Hey, Jack, how you doing?
Wait, and I looked.
Mhm.
That was wrong.
Well, I have a Lee story. She and I follow planes.
Oh yes.
Have you
You
heard
follow
this one?
what?
Airplane things. I mean,
Oh,
it's because
God.
it's just getting so wacky. So these people
Just
are
being
on a
reported.
flight, American Airlines, which I don't fly them, but for a reason. But last week, was it last week or this past Monday? They were flying on a flight from New York to Tokyo. Okay, it's a 12-hour flight. So they got over the Pacific Ocean
Mm.
and all of a sudden developed some kind of, quote, maintenance issue over the ocean.
Which it wasn't.
They turned around, had to pass. So they were 900 miles off Canada, turned around, and flew back to Dallas for another 5 hours, passing Seattle, like all these other
Well,
airports,
spare
Denver.
Parts, the spare parts were in Dallas. you
Well, Dallas
understand?
is their hub. But the people, like they were mad, so they had to put everybody up in a hotel overnight.
Well, that's amazing.
And they say so far, now granted, we're only in April. This has been the 12-hour ordeal. These people were flying for 12 hours and never got to their destination. This was a whole 12-hour thing without even being the normal flight to Tokyo.
So what was the
12
maintenance
hours.
problem?
They never said. Haven't told what that was. Hadn't said a word.
Was this the same flight, the same airlines that what they turned around for was because
Pilot forgot his passport.
I don't know.
did
Was
not
that
have his
American?
passport.
This was American, so
I'm
hard to
not
say.
sure which. But anyway,
Yeah,
the
I'll
pilot
check
had
that.
forgotten his passport. And wouldn't be
American
able to-
Airlines.
But America was that one
This
too?
was
Because
safe
Yeah,
flight.
they got 2 hours over the Pacific Ocean heading for overseas and had to turn around and go back because the pilot forgot his passport.
how do you not have that with you?
Don't you
But
think
okay.
you'd be mad if you were a passenger?
Yes, I'd be furious.
All right, continue on.
So
girl.
then, okay, so they say so far that is the longest diversion yet for this year, but apparently they feel like that record's going to be
We got
broken
9
somehow.
months to go.
Okay. In February, I like this one. American Airlines. God, poor old American, they're pitiful. From New York to India had to be landed in Rome after it had over that bomb threat. But then last month, this one's my favorite one. An Air India flight had to turn around and go back to Chicago. Didn't say where. Oh, I guess it did. It was a 9-hour flight to nowhere. So it had flown wherever, like half. You know why they had to turn around? What do you want to bet?
Somebody had to go to the bathroom.
All the bathrooms stopped working. All of them on the plane. How does
Well, just
Can
fly
you
down to a
imagine
low
what a
level.
catastrophe that
Hang
would
out the
be?
window.
Just open that window
Can
or
you
door.
imagine?
Below 10,000 feet, you're okay.
That is awful.
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
telling you. So
No more beverages. The bar is cut off.
oh, that makes people fight.
Uh-huh.
I've seen that on a plane personally.
Uh-huh.
People get upset.
I don't know. I'm more worried right now because you're talking about going on a short cruise. Every day there's something in the
I've
news
got
about a
some
cruise ship.
special life jackets if you would like to carry
That's
some.
why I booked I got a balcony, a suite. I wouldn't. I don't care how
I've got
much
some
that's going to
ocean
end up costing.
rated life jackets.
Yeah.
They just had
I'm
one
only
in the
doing this for my
news
grandson.
a couple days ago where the water was so rough that it was just causing,
I saw that.
and it was throwing passengers from wall to
I
wall.
saw that.
They don't
Can,
use
can
much
you
that
just
way.
see
That's
her
gonna be
now?
me.
Can you see her now? We could hear her screaming all the way from the ocean.
That's gonna be rough.
Take
think that's only 3
take a
days.
couple of extra long bungee cords so you can strap yourself to the
I'm telling
deck.
you.
Take masks because they say then, and then I've read a lot of the norovirus breaking.
I know.
out on
That's-
these
I'm not
ships.
gonna
I'm
touch
like,
anything.
And Kelly's like, I'm going on a cruise.
Not
I'm like,
not by
"What?"
choice. For my grandson, he wants to try a cruise, and we
I've
thank God
always
my
wanted
daughter's
to go,
smart
but-
and said, let's try 3 days first and get. So if he wigs out, we've
You
only
know,
got to deal with
they
him
do
for 3
have
days.
cruises on things like the paddle wheeler at Wilmington. You can
well,
go
she just
downriver
went-
and back.
yeah.
2 hours.
Here's
This is-
one right
this is
here.
Carnival.
2 days ago, over 200 passengers sickened
Yeah.
with a norovirus aboard the
And we got both sides of the family going. So it's like,
yeah,
You're
but
gonna
we
get
have a
everybody.
petri dish.
You're going to spread it around to everybody, aren't you?
look, I
You know
got
what? When
I'll
you
stay
get
on my
back-
little balcony.
When you get back, you're
Yeah.
quarantined for 3 weeks. Just stay somewhere in a bubble.
Kelly's laying on a chair on the deck, strapped to
That's
it.
gonna be me. I'm telling you, because it's this. I'm not a fan of this whole thing. Not at all.
No,
You will
no.
probably have a great time. I've
I hope
always
so.
wanted to go, but now that I'm a little bit older, I'm like, nah.
Well, the last time I was on a big boat like that was 1997,
Was it
98.
Carolina Princess?
No, it was going to the Bahamas. My best friend and I were going. I had just been in the
That was
hospital with
probably a
pneumonia.
ship, not a boat.
But let me tell you, that's where I learned that even when you're drunk, you can skeet shoot.
Did you hit anything?
I sure did.
Then
And the
what
more
was
I
your-
drank, the better I got.
Sounds like Dr. Johnny Fever on
Oh
the
my
WKRP in
gosh, yeah.
Cincinnati.
I learned that quick. I also
They
learned
gave
don't
you
look
a
up.
gun with shells in it when
Uh-huh.
you were drunk.
Yeah,
I'm not going on that boat ever. Never, ever.
that was a long time ago. I would think they would not do that now.
I wouldn't think they would have done it then.
They did it. I'm here to tell you they did. I had a whole cheering section and
You
everything.
turn around. Hey, anybody out there named Skeet? Come on up.
So,
We'll launch you up and see if I can hit you.
and that was the first time I had ever skeet shooted. I found out I liked it.
Wow. Yeah, I used to do it
Yeah.
over here when we had the Sportsman's Lodge. I used to skeet shoot over
Mhm.
there.
It's a lot of
Yeah,
work
Off on the
though.
I
shoulder.
figured that
Yeah.
was just a waste of shells. I just went out and shot doves.
A lot
That
of
way I
work.
could bring those home and eat them.
Yeah.
Wrap them in bacon. Oh, they're good. President Donald Trump confirmed that multiple employees within the National Security Council are now no
Here we
longer
go.
there.
Mhm.
Oh,
Adding to National Security Advisor Mike Waltz's recent political woes that have snowballed since Democrats first slammed him over a March signal chat leak. Always, the president said, we're going to let go of people that we don't like, or people we don't think can do the job, or people who may have loyalties to someone else. Trump was on Air Force One. Reporters asked him about that whole mess, and that's what he told them. Trump confirmed that NSC members had been fired, but remarked it was not many of them. Waltz, who previously served as a Florida congressman and as a decorated combat Green Beret, has come under fire from Democrats and critics since March, when the Atlantic magazine's editor-in-chief, Jeffrey Goldberg, published a first-hand account of getting added to a Signal group chat with top national security leaders, which included Waltz, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, and CIA Director John Ratcliffe, while they discussed strikes against Yemen terrorists. Trump and his administration have repeatedly defended the national security leader amid criticisms over that chat leak. Signal is an encrypted, supposedly, messaging app that operates similarly to texting or making phone calls, but with additional security measures that help ensure communications are kept private to those included in the correspondence. I'd like to see a list of the individuals who no longer are employed. How high up the chain did they go? Well, they went up to Waltz. I don't know how many were let go. We should be finding out at some point in time, I'm sure. Hopefully he will
Well,
come forth.
is this such a surprise for the new administration? Is it really that big of a surprise?
you make mistakes. I mean, I've made mistakes hiring people, and after a period of time, that's why you hire them for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days trial periods, right?
I mean,
No
didn't we say
harm, no
a new
foul.
administration comes in 6 months from that point that they came in? People will be fired. People will be replaced.
I cannot think of anybody who's ever moved into even a small operation like a TV station or newsroom, an operation, that everybody that you walk in, and even the ones that you hire,
Right.
that you're going to keep them, because
Right.
they just don't cut the bill. They're not good. Some of them have to go. That's just a matter. That's the way life is. Not everybody's going to be able to do what they're supposed to do, or do what I wanted them to do, or do what somebody else wanted them to do. They got to go.
Right. Right. Yep. there's so much going on. I can't even keep up with
Oh,
it
I
all.
can't either.
I'm just like, I just sit back and let it work out one way or another. It's just
The thing,
So
the
much.
thing about in this particular case, if he had kept these individuals, continued to defend them, once he found out what had occurred, if he had kept them, that's when the problem would have been there.
right.
Getting
Right.
rid of problem areas is not a problem.
And you know, I mean,
Making a mistake is not a problem. You can
Right.
make mistakes when you hire people. Good God, I've done that.
of course, you know, you hire somebody, you think they're going to be the number one employee, and they disappoint you right away. But that's just the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the way it is. That's life. That's just every day. But the news media, I would say there's like 90% of the news media that is so against Trump and his administration. They can't wait to hop on a story and stretch it.
Well, that's a given. That's going to be with any new president from one side of a media aisle or
But
the other.
the problem
I
is
didn't see it this bad with Biden though.
people don't understand. There's a
Well,
lot of
they were-
people.
the
Fox
masses, the
News,
mass
yeah.
media
Right.
was defending Biden,
Correct.
regardless of what mistakes the baggage he came with, the mistakes that he made. They defended him. Period. Bottom line, all the way through.
And there's some that would jump on it in a heartbeat
Mm-hmm.
and run with it. But
Those that continue to bash Biden today, he's no longer part of our issues, right? He's
we
done.
haven't even heard anything on him.
Well, hopefully we won't.
Well,
We don't need to.
Oh, I bet
I mean,
we
there's
will.
there's enough in
just-
the background if people wanted to. I mean, you know, like they did with Trump when he was unelected in 2020.
unelected.
Well, he was unelected, so
Right.
therefore they went through, and the media just continued to blast him and blast him and blast him, just raising Cain
Right.
for the 4 years before the next election and up to and including the next election.
Right.
So that's a fact of life. That's the way things. That's the way they happen. It's not the way they should be happening, but it went down that way. So, okie dokie, a Rocky Mountain man is behind bars on multiple child porn charges. You're gonna like this
Oh.
one, yeah, buddy. The city's police department says 36-year-old Chad McKenzie has been charged with 5 counts of second-degree sexual exploitation of a minor. Tuesday this week, police searched McKenzie's home after an investigation that was launched following multiple tips of child sexual exploitation. He's confined in the Nash County Jail on $80,000 secured bond.
Okay, good.
You got to
At least
put
it's
up my money.
secured.
Not a lot of details have been made available as yet, as the investigation is ongoing. You can rest assured that as long as they put out the word and they use his name, there will be some others that will come forward. That's just the
Let's
way
hope
the
so.
cookie crumbles quite often.
I don't like crumbled cookies.
I don't eat. That's a waste.
Crumbled cookies?
Yeah, I want it
It's a
whole.
whole lot to try to, gather up. You might miss some.
You just dump them in your hand and
It's hard sometimes.
Put them on your ice cream.
you got
Yeah,
to say, I'm not the
that's
only
good.
one
Yeah,
here.
that's
Anthony's
good.
got the trick going. We know how to do it. Kelly's too prim and proper. That's what it is. She
Okay.
wants it all perfectly shaped, right? No
I
crumbs.
can understand that. I want a nice little Prince cookie.
Depends on how much you pay for it.
That's right. That's
Okay.
right.
Anthony,
Prince.
belly up to the microphone
Yes.
bar there.
Good morning, sir.
How are you?
I'm doing well.
No,
It's
you're
been a
looking.
while
I can
since
tell you
we-
one thing. I'm really
Brother.
good at missing the turn to your place here.
Oh, well, if you don't get it right the first time, there's do it again and again and
Well,
again.
the thing
You
about
get
it
right.
is you can always circle the block.
You know, I am the city's transportation guy.
You should know where it is,
Yeah,
right?
well,
You
theoretically.
know that this is a kind of like a one-way street now. You can't go and turn directly onto the street from some directions.
Piney Green.
Piney Green.
And everything's
Yeah.
changed.
But the easiest way is just to go up there to that very nice
I take
turnaround.
Commerce. I take
Well, yeah, I know, but
Commerce.
that's coming from that direction.
Still, when I leave, I go Commerce. I
It's
like
a great
that.
new road, isn't it?
Yes, I love it.
Yeah, it is. I wish you hadn't told everybody about it there.
You have to
I
remember
had
that.
a perfect street to go
25.
anywhere I wanted to go. I hop, zip right on down, get on Commerce, zipping means 25 miles per hour, by the
Yes.
way, because the guys with those ghost cars, they've explained that to a lot of people, I've noticed.
Can we raise it?
No, they don't need to raise it. And all I do is hit cruise control. The minute I hit
I
it,
do too.
keep my foot off the accelerator. I'm good to go.
That's the
It's
only
good
way I-
policy.
Yeah,
that's the only way.
absolutely.
That's the only way I can remember because I'll turn on, I'll look down, I'm doing 30. Oops. So
Yeah,
I put on the cruise.
If there are no cars in front of me, and I mean, I'm going to go with the flow of the traffic, which is for me.
Who knows, right?
Yeah,
Right,
me.
right. Yeah,
But
I love it.
the speed limit is there regardless of what vehicles are on the
Mhm.
road.
That's
All
right.
Yes.
So anyway, that's a great addition, and it's long overdue. But the only thing that I wish, maybe you've got something to do with this,
Mhm.
is Commerce Road city or state?
Well, it's partially city, partially state, but
Okay.
eventually it's going to become all city.
Okay, the
Ah.
part down here where you turn off of Commerce onto Country Club Drive,
Mm-hmm.
that turn lane starts, and people who are going to be turning onto Piney Green Road to the right,
Mm-hmm.
they get behind me and they tailgate me because I'm slowing down to turn onto Country Club Drive.
Sure.
We need to block that road. Right turn only here,
What?
and then put a little barricade, not a barricade, but some humps up there so people will know, don't get into that lane
the
yet.
road is fine.
Rayford's very particular.
Right turn
The road
only.
is
I don't
fine.
want to get hit in the rear end by these idiots. And we have
I never have anybody behind me.
at 5:30 in the morning, probably not.
True. No, very nice
During
job.
the rest
Very
of the
nice
day, I've
job.
got them behind me.
Yeah.
5:30 in the evening is different, though, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I can understand.
Anyway, we got to,
Slam
I
on the
got something
brakes.
here. It's upside down.
You excited about that?
I am.
First
Wonderful.
of all,
One
Rayford,
city center. Oh yeah, we got to do
before
something.
you get any further, I just, everybody knows Anthony. He's the director of the transportation services for the city of Jacksonville, but he was also in January selected as an assistant manager for the city. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Moving up in the
Yes.
world.
Now,
Well-
that means the buck stops there now, right?
It's a great honor. Let's just say that.
Well, good. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, the city's. We're all pleased that you're there.
Yeah, when
Well-
I read that when it first came out, I was like, yay, I know Anthony.
Well, Jacksonville's very important to me.
Yes.
And so every day I go into work and I do the best that I can, and hopefully having this new role will be able to do a lot more great stuff.
Mhm. Good. I hope that just tell us what's going on out there. One City Place, is that the name of it?
One,
Well,
One City Center.
last time we were together, we
Mhm.
talked about the 400 acres,
Right.
right.
right? And that's formally what it's been called because that's what it was,
Mhm,
right?
The 400-acre plot.
Right. But as we also talked last time, we've been going through a planning process to figure out what we're going to do with it. It's a big investment and it's a huge opportunity for the city. So the mayor and council have entrusted us to do a process of planning.
Mhm.
We went out to the public, found out exactly what we should do with the property. We've been
Mhm.
working with some professional consultants to determine what we're going to build,
Okay.
and what the layout's going to be. And that's what the pretty picture is there that you have
Yeah.
in your hand.
Yeah, I
So
like
that's been a year's worth of work in the making. And the culmination of that is what we're calling Uptown Jacksonville.
Oh,
Like
uptown.
uptown as opposed to downtown. I've always
Yeah.
tried to figure out where is
Like
uptown
Charlotte.
and where is downtown when we
Right.
start referring to places.
Mm-hmm.
But
Well, we
some
can
of
tell
us
you.
call Jacksonville downtown, uptown, and then we call.
Hey,
We didn't know what the
That
name.
puts me right there, right at Uptown. 'cause
You're-
I
you're
can walk
uptown.
over there.
No,
Yeah.
you're midtown.
No, I live in Woodlands. I can walk right over.
You're Uptown.
Yeah, see,
There you go.
Uptown.
Uptown girl. There you go. You got a theme song now, just for you.
But it's a
part of that area though. You could grow rice in it, right?
well, theoretically, yes.
Mhm.
But we want to do something a little bit more productive for the
Right.
public
What's
in
wrong
that
with
area.
rice? I like rice.
I love rice too.
How did rice get into
But the
this?
city's not in the rice business, frankly.
Gotcha.
We're in the people business. And, the great thing about it is that it does back up to the New River, and there is some flood zone in there and some wetland.
Mhm.
But, just because we have those limitations doesn't mean that you can't use
That's
the
a
property.
plus,
Right.
actually.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so the survey indicated that the community is really looking for more outdoor trails and other types of
Mhm.
Wow.
passive recreation facilities. So
Mhm.
we're not going to be able to build buildings in there, and we certainly don't intend to, but having bicycle trails and walking
Mhm.
trails and we've got a pretty large contingency of disc golfers out there, and so
Yes.
that's something that we're looking at too. But all of that planning is coming forward now, and it's part of the overall complex that we're working on.
Go ahead.
Well, has the city even floated the idea of a dog park? Because we could certainly use one here in the city, like an actual dog park.
Yes, absolutely. I'm not sure if that's going to be a part of the uptown development, but we are looking at other areas where the topography may be able to accommodate that a little bit better. That was one of the highest priorities identified in the survey.
Wow.
So
I'm
it's
sure.
it's definitely on our radar.
Okay, good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good.
Now, there are some buildings and things laid out on here. This piece of paper.
I brought some bigger ones for you too.
Good.
Oh,
What
wow.
are these?
So that your listeners on the
Yeah.
radio can see them.
Right. I
And
can
those
post.
on Facebook and see
I
them
can
too.
post this later.
What I can do
Yes.
is I can send you the digital file.
Oh,
That would be
good,
great.
good,
Because
good.
we do want everybody to be able to
I
see
thought
what we're
that
talking
these-
about here.
These looked like
Nice.
what I would call soccer fields and such.
Right.
Well, they are soccer fields. We're just calling them rectangular
Right.
fields
Yeah.
because they can be used for a variety
That's what
of
they're
different
reminding me of.
things.
Yeah. Even lacrosse field.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So they could be youth soccer fields. They
Uh-huh.
could be full-size soccer fields. They could be football fields. They could be lacrosse fields. They're the uses there are pretty much endless.
I like it.
And that's one of the main deficiencies that we identified in the survey, not only for our local recreation and school athletics, but also it's an opportunity for us to begin hosting sports tournaments, bringing
Yeah.
people in
Nice.
from out of town
Yes.
to come and stay in Jacksonville and of course spend lots of money. And it's a big business right now, and and tourism is actually, believe it or not, it's a growing industry for Jacksonville and Onslow County.
Never would have thought it.
Well, it's here.
I know.
It's
It's here, and it's good. And it's a wonderful, wholesome type of industry, right? But it's also very compatible with the military mission. And so we're not doing things that are going to infringe on our partners while we're developing economically.
I'll go back to 3 motels in Jacksonville. You ready?
Mhm.
Howard Johnson's.
Yes.
Holiday Inn finally
Yes.
came into being. And what was the other one? Howard Johnson's and
Red carpet? Oh,
Nope, no.
Howard
Johnson's and Holiday Inn were it.
Triangle.
To be, they were outside the city.
That's right. They were. What was that other one?
That was it in Jacksonville.
It's much different today, huh?
Yes, it is.
Well, I'm looking at this map right here, and
Sure.
I think this hotel with like the main street and the complex and stuff, that hotel would, if having tournaments, for example, and I'm thinking as a former soccer mom,
Mm-hmm.
all the money I spent and time and whatever
Once
when
a
my kids
soccer
were
mom,
growing up.
always a soccer
Yeah,
mom.
now, yeah, if I could just get my grandson to play, I'd be doing great. But
You missed it that much?
it was fun. This hotel will stay full, even if you had like a basketball tournament. And I noticed in one of the other pictures that we had in here, like a gym, like indoor basketball tournament. If you have a softball, baseball field, those kind of things, tournaments are tournaments. They will bring in a lot of money. That hotel right there would stay booked probably 95% of the entire year.
That's the whole intent.
Yeah.
And frankly, we've gotten a lot of interest from people already on bringing different types of hotel
Good.
brands to that location. So,
Commercial entertainment.
yes,
I
sir.
see something in there about commercial entertainment. Let's talk about that. 'Cause a lot
Well-
of people are interested.
One of the challenges we have as a community is that a lot of folks leave town to go do fun things.
Sure do.
So they either go to Raleigh, Charlotte, Myrtle Beach, Wilmington, etc. So it could be one of or actually it could be several of many things, whether it be like a Top Golf.
I want to
or
talk
whether
about
it be-
Lord, here we
No, I
go.
wanna
we
talk
talked
about
about we talked
Yep.
about this last time. I
Yep.
know. Top
Kelly and
Golf.
I are going to go ahead and
I wanna
invest
talk
in
about-
one.
Well, we're definitely taking sponsors. How about that?
Put your money where your mouth is.
There's also been interest in a water park, amongst other
Oh, that would
things.
be cool.
So these are what I call commercial recreational uses that the city is not going to manage. But what we would end up doing is we would either lease the property or sell the property and generate
To
some
an entity,
revenue off
okay.
of that,
Oh,
right?
excellent. Yes.
While also selling it to someone who's going to do something cool
Mhm.
out there to support a community need.
You got any bites? Had any bites yet on something like that from somebody or group or organization?
Well, we have had interest from a lot of different groups.
Mhm.
Water Park has always been one of them. There's been an investor who's interested in bringing something like that to our community. We're just not ready to hammer all those details
Still
out.
pretty seasonal.
But also similar to a Dave and Buster's type concept,
Oh.
which of course would clean up in Jacksonville for sure.
Mhm.
You know, so those are the things that are on the horizon. We don't have them locked in. That will come here in a little bit of time, but there's interest, and I think it has real potential.
Good.
Yeah.
I look forward to that. Timeline?
Well, we're working on the design right now,
Mhm.
and the goal is to have the building out for bid later this year, early next year. And when I say the building, we haven't really talked about that
I was going to
yet.
ask.
But one of the other things that I have for you, and of course we will share digitally, is a layout of the
I saw
One
this.
City Center. Rayford, you mentioned that earlier, right?
Yes.
And
That's
so
what we had.
One City Center is
Oh, nice.
basically a multi-purpose building
Yeah.
that's going to allow us to expand on the whole concept of the sports tourism. Okay, so what you're looking at, that's a preliminary footprint of the building with the layout and everything. It's going to include about 90,000 square feet of high span open sports and entertainment space, if you
I was
will.
going to ask you entertainment, bands, groups.
Yes, sir.
No, that's
the intent.
open or covered. Open.
Well, it's open span, but it does have a roof on it.
Oh.
Yes, it's
Oh.
indoor, climate
Wow.
controlled, all
Okay.
of that kind of stuff. And so the picture you're looking at there, you can
Yes.
see there's basketball courts on one
Yes.
side, and then there's kind
Mhm.
of a concert venue set up on the other side.
It's what they call a
Right.
multi-purpose. You can add chairs as you need them.
Yes.
And when there's Trask Coliseum in Wilmington at the university there, that's been used for concerts forever.
Yeah.
Or
Mhm.
even the
is,
one
yeah.
for the athletics, you can use as a concert hall too.
Well, the intent is to have that space as being completely flexible.
Yes.
So if we don't have a concert coming, you can just roll the bleachers back,
Right.
put down more basketball floors or volleyball floors
Nice.
or whatever, and have the flexibility to adjust that space to any number of things. We've also talked about the fact that military balls are something
Yes.
that happen
A lot of them have to leave town because there's no space.
and
They
there's
do.
not enough space. And so we designed this space as well as the adjacent space specifically to be able to handle those. At the
Did you
capacity
check to
that
make
they
sure
need.
Camp Lejeune is going to stay here?
We did speak with their
Just want to be sure.
well, we did speak with their representatives, and let's just say we designed it to meet their specs.
Good.
Now, whether they stay here or whether they go to other communities, I think that's a decision.
No,
that-
I'm talking
about the
about
whole
I'm
base
talking
league.
about the base is not going to shut down, right?
Oh, that's a completely different perspective. I don't think
We
that's
all be
happening
moving.
anytime soon.
We'll all be moving.
And the more that we increase quality of life by the development of things like this,
Mhm.
it helps support the military mission.
But Kelly, you know what's good too? That this proposed concept,
Mhm.
having a hotel right there too.
That's what I was
Military-
saying.
They can walk
come
right
back,
over.
They can walk if they don't have to go home. If they want to be away from their kids for the night or whatever. That hotel, I'm telling you, that hotel right there, whoever gets that is going to make a pure fortune off this.
The other thing is, if you look at the site plan, there's kind of a Main Street concept
Mhm.
that connects
Right.
the
I
two.
saw that. I saw that word
the
shops
one
too.
city center, the big
Mhm.
building is at the west end, and then the hotel is at the
Yes.
east end.
Yeah.
And in the middle, we expect to have like a multi-use type development,
Yes.
something similar to like you would see in Mayfair and in other.
That's what I thought it
communities.
was Mayfair when I
Yeah,
saw
you
that.
There'll be a
but
lot
yeah.
of retail shops.
I hope
Yeah.
I'm not
Retail
too
shops on the ground
So you've got
floor.
a city within a
won't
city.
be.
Absolutely. This is a live, work, play type of concept. And, that's something that people are really gravitating towards these days. So the development itself, while it's oriented towards sports and recreation, there's also going to be retail space, potentially office space, as well as different types of housing.
I was going to say housing. How many people are you looking at? How many family units are you looking at as a
I
possibility?
may have to move over there.
Well, I see housing and then townhomes.
Yes. So the actual number is hard to pin down right now. And we'll do that as we go to select the private partners who are actually going to do the development.
Right.
But the main goal here is a couple of things. First, we want to have some residential activity in there to provide, basically people,
Sure.
to help support all the commercial activities,
Yeah.
not only on this site, but you also have Williamsburg Plantation that surrounds the whole thing, right? We don't want this to be, something that detracts from the surrounding community. We want it to support the surrounding community. So you see some residential in there that's going to buffer some more of the commercial activities from the existing single family, right?
Right.
And then you also see some residential within the commercial multi-use zone. Those would be more like apartments or condos or things of that nature. It's yet to be determined what the other area would be, but it's likely to be townhomes is what we're thinking.
Okay,
Yes.
being the guy that'll bring it up, the elephant in the room, traffic congestion, parking.
So parking
Gotta
is,
have access.
yeah, parking
without
is,
interfering with what's going on already, right?
yeah, exactly. And that's been a key issue for us to figure out as part of this planning process. So we hired a very skilled contractor to help us with the traffic study, and we're wrapping that up right now.
Okay.
The good thing is that the extension of Western Boulevard into the property was originally sized to be a 4-lane divided facility. So in that particular case, you have tons and tons and tons of capacity.
Right.
The issue is, of course, getting people from the development to that wide road. And the TIA has lots of great recommendations on how to manage the traffic, not only from a capacity perspective, but also from like a pedestrian safety perspective, because especially in the downtown area of uptown area of the project, we're going to have a lot of pedestrians.
Sure.
And in order, one of the things that we've learned through the planning process and in visiting other places is that it's all about experience with people that come from out of town. If they have a good experience, they'll come back. If they have an uncomfortable experience, they will not.
Right.
And so that's why having this self-contained development with a comfortable, bicycle, pedestrian, as well as vehicular access is a very high priority.
Yeah, we've got that thing called the Gum Branch Road intersecting with Western Boulevard and that whole mess out there. Traffic coming in from I don't know, that may want to jump off in Richlands and come this way. The maybe destination is that location. They got a 2-lane death trap.
You're preaching to the choir, my friend.
I understand that.
We
That's
all
not
know
that's
that.
not
You
your
know,
bailiwick, but you deal with DOT on that.
I do.
How
And
close are we?
DOT is an excellent partner. Don't get me wrong, but there are lots of challenges with Gum Branch Road
Don't we know?
and bringing it up to really the standard that it needs to be.
It's still a farm to market road.
Well,
the same as it was 50 years ago.
You could say the same thing about 53 too.
Absolutely.
Gum Branch Road. There's lots of them.
Well, for
Think
the
about
last-
what Piney Green Road was a number of years
Now
ago.
it's just
nightmare. Still a
So
nightmare.
I want to know where all the piney green trees went to.
Well, for the last
Those yellow cones barrels. I want a few of
That's
them.
the state flower now. For the last 20, 25 years, they've been buying land off of Gum Branch and buying houses and moving the yards back. And there's not much more they can do unless they go and buy everybody's house and bulldoze them all down.
What's been done is what I'll call an interim fix to an end goal solution.
Right.
And so that project's been under construction for a long time and it's finally wrapping up. We did some great things. We added some paved shoulders, we added some turn lanes, we straightened some curves, added some signals, but that's not the end all be all solution. That's what could be afforded at the time.
Right.
Okay. But ultimately we've got concept designs for a 4-lane divided highway out there. The challenge is coming up with the money to build it. Right. And then actually getting to that point.
Yeah.
So, just to put it in perspective, the Piney Green Road project was well over $100 million.
Sure.
Okay.
Oh, I know.
Right. And so you're looking at a similar type of project on Gum Branch Road. And we got to, of course, make sure that we do it right the first time this time. And that's just going to take time and money.
And of course, the Piney Green Road project made Country Club Road a thoroughfare.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question for
Yes,
you
ma'am.
from one of our listeners.
Okay.
They want to know what's being built where the Central Cafe used to be, right there at Cheney and 17.
Well, at this point, I don't know if there are any specific end users, but the Baileys own that property, just like many other along the 17 corridor. And we've seen drawings that basically turn that into a very nice looking shopping center. Okay. So the building where the cleaners used to be.
Right. I saw they're redoing that.
That's going to be a multi-tenant shopping center. And then I don't know exactly what's going to go into the old Central Cafe building,
Right.
but it'll either be some type of retail or restaurant or something.
Okay, and
like
that's
that,
right
I
behind the
imagine.
Starbucks right there at Cheney
Yeah,
and
because they
17.
tore it
That's right.
down.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I got
Oh,
a question for you.
Central
Something.
Lunch.
Central Cafe. Well, it was Central Lunch at one time, and then it went to Central Cafe.
And it was good.
It was my dad's favorite.
Oh, I
place.
loved
Best
it.
greasy spoon
We
in
went there
town.
for breakfast.
It
God,
always
it was
smelled though, didn't it, Kelly? It
I-
always had that
Oh, it
smell
was
about it.
so good.
Yeah.
So good.
But no,
Oil
they
from
had
50
that
years
old,
ago.
old smell like you were.
When I went in there, they
Grandma's attic.
it did not. It just smelled like yummy. When you walked in, it just smelled good.
Yeah,
You
we
love
used
grease
to,
anyway.
Their breakfast was good.
oh yeah.
Oh,
Dad took us. It was always let's go to Central Cafe.
my grandson would go as a young child in there. Yeah. Now I do have a question.
Sure.
Hardee's moved out
Mm-hmm.
from behind Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
Do we know if it? Because I have a suggestion what I'd like to see go in there:
Okay.
a Jack in the Box.
A Jack in the Box.
Because I think the same owners, the same group that runs Hardee's, I think owns Jack in the Box,
Mhm.
and it's already a fast food place. All they literally have to do is probably freshen up some of the equipment and just move right in. So I
Kelly,
suggest
we need
Jack in
to
the Box.
focus our attention on Top Golf.
I agree. Two different
Forget
things. but
Jack in the
absolutely.
Box.
Well, I don't like to see the empty building.
yeah.
Well, I'm asking the question
Mhm.
right now. We'll see what the answer
Yeah.
is. I know that there is interest in that
Mhm.
building. I just don't recall what's
Because I don't want to see another McDonald's. Nobody
Yeah,
cares
we've
about Burger
seen-
King. Jack in the Box.
We've seen several buildings in Western that has.
You got
that have
Wahoo
gone
there, and you
vacant
got
or still
whatever else
vacant.
is
I want a sheet.
Jaggers.
I don't care about a Wawa that's coming in there. I will
I
never
like
go.
Wawa's.
I do not. I'm a sheets girl.
Okay.
So.
I'm okay.
It
with
seems like a
Wawa.
polarizing thing. You either love it or hate it, right?
Well, to me, they're the same.
I have no experience, so
Yeah.
I don't know.
I guess I'll find
I
out.
love sheets though.
I love sheets.
too.
Now, my business partner, I have to say, he is all about this Wawa coffee to the point where we went to 2 conferences and had to drive up in the DC area to find a Wawa. I guess they have coffee in bags. I mean, I don't
See,
drink
him
coffee,
and
so-
I would get along great.
And we could not come back to Jacksonville without this stupid bag of coffee from Wawa. So I don't know what it is about this Wawa coffee.
Is it coffee beans?
It's ground, I think.
Okay.
It's in a bag. And we had to go like 2 or 3 till we found a
Coffee
Wawa.
drinkers are very particular.
Well, he's all about
their
it.
coffee.
He
Lots of
bought
strange stuff
like
comes from
7
Colombia.
bags of it. You hush.
All right.
Yeah.
Update on New Bridge Street. I see we're getting close.
Excuse
Can't
me.
get
Yes,
to City
we're
Hall
I'm
good.
yet,
glad
but
about
on the
that.
way.
That's been a nightmare for me.
Well, I'll tell you, I've been a part of a number of different
Joy.
streetscape projects with my experience in working in the city of
Right.
Wilmington. And anytime you open up an old street,
Yeah.
Oh, I bet it was a treasure trove
Well,
of stuff you found.
you're along for the ride. And
Yeah.
so the-
Find any bones or anything?
I know, right?
No, we
That's
didn't
street
find
Old
any
pipes
bones.
that
I
they don't
didn't put
make
'em there.
anymore.
I
No,
mean,
but we did get surprised with some underground tanks and some
I'm
other
sure you
things
did.
that,
I did wonder about that.
Yeah, and of course, all of that takes time to
Mhm.
remediate.
how
and
much
to
longer
deal
do you anticipate?
Well, it's coming along really quickly now that
can't
we've been
wait.
able to move to this next section.
You
And
got
so-
all the underground stuff done, probably, right?
Well, they're wrapping up
They
the
think
underground
so.
now. They're wrapping up the underground now and really focusing on the sidewalk. So yes, we're in the
Yes.
short rows, and I would
love
say
the parking, the way they've redone that. And I understand that some small businesses have just recently opened up. Women-owned businesses,
Mhm.
boutiques and stuff like that. Kelly, we need to go take a look.
I'm all about it.
So,
Lord,
you know.
Lord.
there's
Yeah.
been word about a Milk Road.
Yeah.
A
Oh,
what?
whoa.
People
a
like the
Road.
Milk Road.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
Milk, the
they've
Milk
got a
Road
huge
is out there
following.
on Gum Branch
They
Road.
are. They've got a following, like
And
a cult
so-
following. People like
What
that
is it?
place. It's like
It's
a
like-
coffee and tea place.
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
Move on.
Those people are like that.
Ice cream.
Do you like Belgian waffles? Because that's also a big draw there.
Oh.
I'm not a big breakfast fan at all.
Yeah.
We just need to keep building more and more gyms because all these food places coming in. I'll
I
tell
had,
you.
I had leftover barbecue a couple of days ago for breakfast. Okay, that's my style.
I ate pizza
Just
for
put it
breakfast
next to a
yesterday.
couple of eggs and you
By the
got
time
it.
I get up and here in the mornings, I don't eat.
Mhm.
By the time I get off of the air here, it's time for breakfast, but it's not breakfast. It's lunch.
It's
Yeah.
for me.
brunch.
It's barbecue
That's
sandwich time, right?
I have eaten a lot of grilled cheese sandwiches, grilled ham and cheese
I'll
sandwiches.
get Joy's question because
Okay,
I
we got a
ask
we got a
you
question
something.
from Joy, right? Hey,
Joy.
Joy,
What's
Joy,
up,
Joy.
Joy?
Yes.
Joy to the
Good
world.
morning.
Hey, Joy.
Good
Morning.
morning. Good morning. Thank you for the information you're presenting. I want to be. I'm in agreement with Kelly. My grandson is on a traveling basketball team, and we have gone from here to Charlotte to Virginia to Rock Hill, South Carolina, to Bermuda Run, North Carolina. You name it. And we at these tournaments, the basketball tournaments, a lot of them have like 6 courts going at the same time because you've got different age brackets. And the problem that we found was, of course, the hotel would, anybody that would, if they want to make some money and we have this and we have tournaments going on, they will definitely, revenue would definitely be brought in
Mm-hmm.
because you have the difficulty of finding places to stay. And also, some of the games are, let's say, at 9 o'clock, but then you're going to turn around and you might have another one at 11. But by the time you get in the car, go somewhere to eat, I mean, in other words, if you have that some eating things going on at the same time also, I mean, it would really bring a lot of revenue in. I only know this because of the past 2 years of experience it.
Mm-hmm.
So what Kelly is saying, I am in total agreement with it. And if this can get up and going, I think it would be great for Onslow County and then for Jacksonville, the revenue to bring in, only because I've watched it and it is amazing. And you meet people from out of state,
Mm-hmm.
and they come from Georgia, you name it, for these big tournaments. And we've got these different organizations like Phenom Hoops and Big Shots and different high quality sports, sports people that sponsor these things. So, I think it's a wonderful idea, and the dog park especially.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yep.
We need something for that.
But some people bring their dogs on tournaments as well. I mean,
Yeah.
throw a dog park in here somewhere and put some restaurants. See, Joy, Lee's going to put it on our Facebook page.
Yes.
But there's a map, and they've got like a hotel, like a main street, and all these shops and stuff with the event center and the fields and stuff. You throw a dog
Yes.
park in there, and then throw some restaurants in there. You don't have to leave this facility for your whole
No.
tournament, which is good because you're
We play-
right. Yeah, you play at 9, and let's say you're
Yeah.
playing a tournament. You got to be, you don't have time to go downtown and
No.
drive. I mean, you got to stay where you are. And
Exactly.
when I used to do tournaments, I easily would spend close to $1,000 a weekend feeding my family, paying
Yeah,
for
yeah,
hotel,
tell me about it.
all of it.
You need to
So-
get her a room and just keep it open
so
for
I'm
her.
telling you,
Yes,
like,
we need thousands of her
Right.
coming to Jacksonville.
Yeah.
but it is when you go to tournaments, it's a lot of money because
It
you're not just bringing your one kid that plays. A lot of times, people bring the whole entire family. Everybody's got to eat.
Yes.
You're going to need more. Depending on how many people you bring, more than one hotel room. I mean,
Yep.
this could be very lucrative for the city and for business owners in that little complex.
So to toot
Oh
our-
yeah, I've done just experienced myself over $2,000 on a weekend.
Yeah,
For,
you spend some
these
money.
Tournaments goes 2 days straight,
Yeah.
and usually you have 2 games, and maybe depending on where you go at, you might have 2 the next day. How far you go up the line, but then you have your dog at a motel that might be 10 miles away.
Yep.
And there's no way you can really go out to and get back in time to play the game because you have to take care of the dog, etc. That type thing.
And you can't bring them on the
it's-
field.
it's all about
Mm.
experience.
Yeah.
Right.
You have a positive
Yeah, but-
experience, you're going
Mhm.
to come back. If you
Sure.
don't, then you're not.
Exactly.
And to toot our horn a little bit on how we've gone about doing this. we visited many of these facilities throughout North Carolina and South Carolina and learned
Yep.
from the people that run those facilities about what they did right, what they did wrong.
Mhm.
And so we're trying to minimize all of the wrongs that they are experiences and trying to amplify all the rights. And so having restaurants and
Yep.
lodging within walking distance, having
Yep.
passive recreation. It may not be a dog park, but you can certainly take your dog out and walk them
Correct.
on the
Something.
trails.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
there's going to be other recreational opportunities within walking distance that aren't just the sports tournaments, whether it be a Top Golf or you know what. But the other great thing about it is, and why we really like this site, there's still developable land on Gum Branch and Western.
Yes.
Mhm.
So
Right.
even if you have to leave the site, you're not going 10 miles. You're,
No.
you're going a half
Especially
mile.
in Charlotte. Oh my gosh.
Mhm.
Yes.
I mean, you might be playing right 30 minutes away. I think it's like from Charlotte to Bermuda, but I can't really remember. But if that's an excellent idea. I'm glad you visited these places to get the pros and cons because what we've experienced, Kelly and myself and whomever has a traveling team of whatever sports they're playing, that would be an excellent. I'm glad you've done that because, of course, I've made my suggestions when I've gone to these places also, but I think it'd be wonderful for and in the community. I mean, the big people getting together and then you meet people from other places. It's just a neat thing. But having it all together is an excellent idea.
And this is something that's pretty unique, actually. You know, having a whole mixed use development in tandem with the sports and recreation. You know, the mayor and council have told us if we're going to do it, we're going to do it right, and we want it to be as successful as it possibly can be.
That's wonderful.
And
Yeah, that's wonderful.
and
I'm
more-
glad y'all are doing that.
And more than
the first
that,
time I ever,
sorry.
the one in Charlotte, I think it's called the one in Rise. I forget what it's called, but you have like so many games going on. You hear whistles blowing, and you think it's your team as they're blowing the whistle. It's the other one behind you. But I mean, they have it together. You know what I'm saying? They've got excellent rest. They don't get just. They have special groups of I'm sure you've looked into all of that, but I just wanted to agree with everything that you're saying and appreciate what the city's trying to do. I think it will bring in. We've needed it for many years. Just like with the soccer, all the tournaments that's going on, and then now with the cross is getting really big. Or there's a bunch of ways that revenue would help, but the convenience is the most important. I mean, the convenience will bring in a lot if everything's set up like it looks like you got it like it needs to be, which I greatly appreciate you and whomever's helping with this project. And you can probably get out, input from people that have experienced like Kelly, to sort of say what works, what doesn't work also.
I'll tell you that the team that we have, the team of staff members that are working on this, every single one of them have been in your shoes or Kelly's shoes. In fact, the city manager, he spends pretty much every weekend traveling to tournaments for his daughters who play volleyball.
Yep.
And so
None of them have been in my shoes, all right?
I'm not sure.
Well, I was just sitting here thinking. Also, when you're looking at that indoor facility, you could host dance competitions. 'Cause
Yes.
my little cousin does that, and good
Many
gracious, that's a lot of
Myrtle
money.
Beach
Yeah,
for
Cheerleading
dance
is
yeah.
big
Cheerleading
too.
is big. Yeah.
But
Yes.
outside of all of the tourism aspect and the tournaments, one of the most important things about this investment is that it's going to meet local need too.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's got to be a year-round place.
It's an everyday.
That's what I
It's a
mean.
20. I wouldn't say it's a
Yeah, and also
24/7 place, but it's definitely a 365-day-a-year place.
And you can even think, well, not always, but you can even think about graduation. That many times you can only get so many tickets because of the space. Of course, some schools might want to graduate at their facility, but I mean,
Yes.
there's so many things that you can think of that. Let's say it rains and you can't get so many people in a small gymnasium. There's so many things that a multi-complex like this would would really be good.
Prom.
It's endless.
Prom. You
Yes.
could have prom.
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Especially since you've had kids and you've gone, you've traveled and you've gone, and then your grandchildren come along and you're doing the same thing. And it's a fun, I think it's great idea. And I thank the city and
Yes.
all those involved with working on this project, and you and it sounds like you're very detail oriented and have a good outlook and have checked around, and I think that's wonderful. And I thank you for what you do.
Well,
Thank
thank you,
you.
Joy. Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
You know, again, the mayor and council have told us if we're going to do it, we're going to do it right.
That's
All
good.
right.
Right.
Thanks, Joy.
Thank you, Joy.
You're welcome. Y'all have a great
Good day.
weekend, and thank you, sir, again for everything that you got going on.
Thank you.
I don't know how long I'll live to make it, but hey, somebody else can enjoy it. The fun times.
There you go.
Fun times.
Thank you, Joy.
Well,
Now, Hampstead, it's not in the county.
Okay.
They got a spot festival. Holly Ridge has got a beef festival.
Yeah, we've been talking about this.
Sneaks Ferry's got a shrimp festival.
That's right. Swansboro.
We got a mullet festival. We got the seafood festival up there in Morehead City. What kind of festival can we have around here?
Well,
The Jacksonville.
one of the other
we had
hats.
one year. You know that, right?
What was that?
It was going to be an annual event, and they had it one
Yeah.
time. The Chamber of Commerce sponsored it.
Mhm.
what was it?
A skate
No.
festival.
No, we don't
I
want that.
kid you
He's
not.
talking fish.
Early 1970s.
Skate.
Skate fish.
You know
never
that
heard
thing
of
like a
it.
stingray?
Yeah, okay.
It's
I
called.
never heard of it.
Yeah. They,
Okay.
Well, nobody else did either.
That didn't pan out. huh?
It died on the vine. But
Okay.
anyway, they had it one year.
Well, one of the other hats that I wear with the city is with the Tourism Development Authority.
I know that. That's the reason I
Okay,
asked you.
that's why you asked, of course.
Yes.
And so a concept that we're working on right now, and actually it's in practice. We just haven't really amplified it and marketed it to the level of a spot festival or an azalea festival, that kind of
For
thing.
Farmer's Day.
We're focusing on Veterans Weekend.
Okay.
Okay. And of course that has ties back to the military presence in the community and all the retirees that we have here. So it's intended to be a 2-weekend event, right?
Yes. Yes.
And so you have events on both weekends, but in the middle, you have more like passive things that you could do, like visiting the memorial gardens and things of that nature. Anyways, one of the big pieces of that is what we call the red, white, and salute.
Right.
Okay, are
Yeah,
you
we know
familiar with
one.
that?
Yes.
And so that's a concert that we have annually, and we have food trucks and we have laser light show and live music and all that kind of stuff. And so that, as well as the Onslow Veterans Powwow, are really kind of the
Right.
anchors.
Yes.
But the point is that's the beginning, right? We need to continue to amplify that so that it becomes to the scale of what you're talking about with the other events. When you do something like this, you have to have something that's unique,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
And so I feel, the TDA feels that this is very unique to our community. And as long as we can keep growing the events and the recognition and all of that, then we're hoping it will evolve into something like you're talking about.
Okay. That would be good. I'd like to see it. Skate festival did not work.
We'd rather salute our veterans than the fish. How about that?
I know at one time we were talking about bringing, I think it was a battleship or something like that over
A
to,
what?
it was like a battleship. They were going to bring it over there to where the Fisherman's Wharf used to be. They were going to
A
put one of it.
battleship?
It was a battleship or something like that.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
How
no.
You been aboard a battleship?
No, listen, Joe Hool. I mean, they were getting it
Where were
was
they going to get a battleship? Were they even going to get that thing in there?
You can't get in the river.
Well,
I was gonna say.
I know that, but they were talking about bringing it over land or something. But yeah, it was a thing at one time.
What?
600 feet long?
Yeah.
It was a thing at one time, and they were
draws
going
30 feet of water.
to put it right over there where the Fisherman's Wharf used to be, right in
Maybe
that
a
area.
PT boat.
Listen to me,
What-
and
what's-
they were going to build a hotel there. Do you remember all that?
I do not.
It was way before.
But the good thing is they're focused on the Museum of the Marine now.
Yes,
They
I
can't-
know.
If
they
you
gave
haven't
up that
noticed.
type dream.
We
Yeah.
need to have the
I don't know
CEO.
what that even was. How would they even get that thing in there?
No, it was. I'm going to
to
get you the information. It was a real thing at one time.
But there's no way they would have ever been able to get a battleship up that river. No way.
Not with the bridges, the height.
No,
There's
I know.
no way.
You can't get them in the river. You
There
got
was
5 feet of
talk.
water at the one deep
Why
point
are
in
you
the river.
yelling at me? I told you this was something that was in the works.
You
at
were
one time.
dreaming and somebody
No.
was drinking.
They must
I'm not
have
sure
got
what you
confused.
thought.
So they were.
I will get you the information. It was a
Dreaming and
real
drinking
thing.
is what was
Now, I
happening with
don't
that.
know that it was big as the battleship. You know, I mean, it was a.
A battleship's big.
It was. I'm trying to think of what it was. It was some
Maybe
kind
like
of
a-
ship that they used supplies to run supplies for in World War II or something. I'll get the information from you. It was really interesting, but I had the same questions like, how are you going to get it over
You
there?
ain't no way you would ever got that in there.
But wouldn't it have been nice to have something like that?
I have to lower the antennas on my boat, and it's 30 feet long, to get it under the bridge. You understand? Not the big bridge.
Who goes that way?
Who goes what way?
Are you talking about the bridge right there at 17?
People do it. I see them.
If that's where you're going to put the boat over there where the
Look,
fisherman's wharf was,
don't be
they
like
got to
I'm
get
stupid.
there. Okay, maybe
I'm
they could
just-
just put a hole in the bridge.
I'm just telling you, there was plans at one time. Look, how they do it, I don't know. Maybe they're going to put it on airbags and float it over. I don't know.
I'm trying to figure out how we got the battleships.
I don't know. Anyway, I have a question. Okay,
Yes,
so
ma'am.
this is a concept
Mhm.
that y'all have been working on.
Are you talking about the 400?
Yes.
uptown
Now, is this
Jacksonville?
kind of like
You're going to put a ship in there too?
no, stop. Is this a done deal? I mean, is this what you're going to, or are you still working on making changes on it?
Well, the plan will evolve over time
Right.
as we implement, especially because, the city does not have the intent of building all
Right.
of this ourselves.
Right,
So pieces of it are going to come from private investment. And what
right.
we've shown here are the things that we would like to see. But when we select those investors, they may have slightly different interpretations. But to answer your question, yes, this is generally what's going to be out there.
Great.
We are, I would say, 90% resolved on what the actual one city center is going to look like.
Right.
We're resolved on what the rectangular fields are going to look like, how many, whether they're turf, whether they're grass, etc. And then the rest of the stuff, like the commercial, you can see on the map here, it's just kind of generic. So that will come as we
Nice.
select our partners. But yeah, I mean, we're committed to this.
Have
at
you
this
put
point.
out bites to different companies to come in and invest, like to build? I mean, what are we
Mm-hmm.
looking at as far as a time frame? When are we going to like throw the first shovel?
So as a government agency, we have to go through our own processes,
Right.
right? And to do what we want to do here, we have to go through a planning process and get
Right.
zoning approval.
Permitting process.
Permitting process,
Right,
yes.
exactly.
We got to,
State permits.
well, we got to follow our
You got
own
wetlands
rules.
there.
Right.
Most of that's already been taken care of, but the zoning is something that we got
Yeah,
to
exactly.
work out. That shouldn't be too much of an issue. It just takes a little bit of time. We plan to be done with that
Mhm.
this summer. But as soon as we finish that, then we're going to start putting out solicitations for the hotel, the multifamily,
Sure.
and the commercial recreation pieces of it.
Nice.
And
And as
then-
far as the buildings that we will keep ownership of, like
Mhm.
the Civic Center,
Mhm.
etc. When are we starting on that?
Well, the design will be done this year.
Okay.
And then depending on how the financing works out, the goal would be to bid it later this year or early next year.
Nice. Nice.
Groundbreaking next
Yeah.
March. How's that?
Okay, I have one other question.
Sure.
You sold some big property to Amazon. They are just, I mean,
Have you been over there?
yes.
It's
I
amazing.
live
She's
across
been,
the
she's been
street,
waiting
so
for her packages.
I go in and out. Yeah, Kelly and I, we're going to put stock into it.
Yeah.
But so you took that money and reinvested it in what, new
Mhm.
land? For
So-
more?
Just like this Uptown project and several others, the city council is leaning forward on a number of things. Economic development
Yes.
is certainly one of them. This 400 acres is proof positive, and
Right.
so is Amazon. We've had the business park for a long time, right? But there
Mhm.
wasn't a whole lot of interest because the site hadn't been
There is
prepared.
now.
and the city again leaned forward, and we did all the site preparation. Before that work was even done, we had Amazon under contract, sold the property, made a good amount of money off of that, and then bought property directly adjacent to it,
Right.
which is 25 acres that will just rinse and repeat the same process. So, what we're finding is that anything that can reduce the uncertainty for a business, large or small, is great incentive. So, for instance, we didn't provide any incentives to Amazon. A lot of communities have to do that. We did not provide any incentives. They bought that property for fair market value, and they've gone through every single process that any other development would have to get under construction. But what we do know is that if we go through the zoning process, if we go through the stormwater permitting process, if we get the utility plans and all of that stuff done so that a developer knows what needs to be done when they walk in day one, then that's a huge incentive alone. And
Excellent,
they're
yeah.
willing to pay for that. And Amazon has proved positive.
Well, here's a question, and I know I'm going to get in a lot of trouble for this,
I'll
but
turn your mic off.
any chance you can help the county with Burton Park?
Well, the county is going through a very similar process that we
Yes.
went through on the 400 acres here, to determine what Burton Park is going to be when it grows up.
You can eventually connect Burton Park to the
Well,
one city.
Unfortunately, we could, not with a road.
Bridges.
Yeah, well, the road with that's a side story, but let's just say that the road is way too expensive to be practical. But we may connect it via other means, a boardwalk or something like that. That's yet to be seen. But the county is working with a professional consultant who's going to help them do some master planning
Great.
for Burton Park. They're looking at a whole variety of different approaches, whether it be office, industrial, recreation, commercial. Everything's on the table. But the good thing is that they're going about it very deliberately, just like we did here. And so when they get to the end of that planning process, they'll have an executable
Gotcha.
plan that makes sense not only to the county, but also to the business community to participate in.
We have a question from a listener.
Sure.
Wanted to know, are you the same Anthony Prince originally from Western North Carolina?
That would be me, yes.
He said, if so, he graduated high school with you back in 1999.
Oh, who is this?
Chris Blankenship.
I know Chris Blankenship.
See, there you go, Chris.
Yeah, I did. Originally I was born in Asheville, and then I grew up in Hendersonville, and we both went to West Henderson High School.
Wow.
Okay, Chris, you got anything you'd like to share with us about the early days?
He's got some dirty laundry.
I know.
I mean, why not?
Why not, right?
Yeah.
All in good fun.
Yeah, he said it's rare for two guys from the same high school to have sat in that chair right there
Yeah.
on this show.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that he was here.
Yeah,
Well,
he's been in
been
here. Yeah,
Great.
he runs a shooting tournament. He does all that shooting tournaments and
cool.
stuff for kids and all that. It's really
Oh, wow. I have to try to catch up with him.
Yeah.
Okay, once a month I drive to see a doctor in Wilmington,
Yes, sir.
and I leave right after the show, and I get to Holly Ridge at about 9:45. And from that point in time on, no, you don't even know where I'm going.
It takes you another 2 hours to get to the doctor?
No,
Is that
I
what you said?
count.
That's what
I
I'm
started
laughing.
counting because I get bored. I count the number of FedEx trucks coming our way.
Yes.
The highest was 61 in that drive between Holly Ridge and the time I jump off on I-140.
Mhm.
That's a lot of FedEx traffic coming from Wilmington to here. Why don't we go after some FedEx delivery station in Jacksonville? We got an airport sitting there.
Well, we are.
Why couldn't we have a flight there?
Uh,
We got everything from little panel trucks all the way to huge. I don't
We've
know where
got
to.
Amazon.
We got
It's a
Amazon,
start.
but FedEx
I need it.
would be a great thing addition
Too.
to Jacksonville, Onslow County.
And we are. The short answer to that is there's opportunities at the airport for the aircraft, but then there's also opportunities in Jacksonville for the
Absolutely.
facility. and we've got professional real estate folks who are trying to make connections with FedEx and UPS
Okay.
to see what kind of opportunities we have at both of those locations, one or both, and that's yet to be seen. But
All of
you know,
those trucks leave the Wilmington airport that morning to come this way.
one of the
God.
things that I've learned recently is that the expansion of Amazon with their own facilities is impacting the future of
Yeah.
FedEx and UPS.
Oh, I'm sure of
I
that.
agree.
You know,
and the
and-
post office.
And so it's one of those things. It's a matter of time to see how that plays out.
Okay.
And I think they're doing that right now.
Good. Good. I just pointing it out.
Mhm.
Something that I see. So I
We
see it. I'm
also-
going to say something about it.
Any opportunity for economic development
Uh-huh.
here is good.
Well, Camp Davis in Holly Ridge, they're
Mhm.
putting a big UPS plant in there, aren't they? Or they have some kind of hub with UPS going in?
Yeah, that was the plan.
Yeah, that's going to be there.
Yeah,
That's
so
in
it's
between.
getting closer.
Yep.
It's
All
getting.
right. Very good.
Jacksonville's turning into quite a metropolitan area. That looks like Theo.
Well, it's the best place in Jackson
Yeah.
in North Carolina to live, right? So
I agree.
why wouldn't it?
I agree.
You got your hip boots on.
Yeah, you're gonna need them.
Hey Theo, what's up?
Good morning, deplorables.
How
Yeah.
are you?
Anthony, welcome to Drama Country. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing well, sir. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, Anthony, were you on the show about a year ago, a year and a half ago?
Here we go.
I think I've been on the show a few times.
Yes.
I can't
Yes,
remember
you
the
were
last time,
about
but
a year ago.
yeah.
What I'm asking is, are you involved with the lines, the white lines on the road?
To a certain extent, my job with the
City stuff.
so I can help with the city roads, but I can also help with the state roads. We just have less authority over the state roads. Where are you
There's so
asking in
many-
particular?
There's so many roads in the city here that are not the paint is gone from these places, and the right side of the road you have a white line, and if you miss it, you're in the ditch, right?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Now, if you went to the expressway, why I'm asking you is because I think I spoke to you about a year and a half ago. I take the expressway to go to work every day, and if you're going towards Swansboro, when you get to the bridge, all those lines are faded. The problem is that area in the wintertime and when it gets foggy, and you can't stay on those lanes while people are going 60 miles an hour.
Now,
So-
I think you're
How
thinking
can we
of
get
the
these
bypass, right?
He's talking about the bypass,
Yeah.
I believe.
How can we get these things painted? I mean, why does it take so long? Shouldn't
Are
that
you
be
talking
a
about-
regular
Are you talking about
I don't know.
specifically on the bridge, or are you talking about on the road?
before
road.
before the bridge? Before the bridge, as you're coming up the hill over the bridge, all those lines are faded away, and the entrance that you have on 117, people coming north on 117, as they enter,
Mhm.
they have their own lane, and yet they don't realize it's a lane, and they try to move into the left. And I'm
That's-
surprised we haven't had an
That's
accident there
exiting
yet.
US 17 on the south near the air
Yeah.
station, just north of the
Yeah,
air
yeah.
station. And when you turn
Right.
off there, it's 2 lanes suddenly, and people get kind of caught up if there's a lot of traffic.
Yeah, don't we have a procedure that some of these ongoing procedure that some of these roads have to be repaved? These lines,
Well, I know that there's a project in the works.
repainted.
I know there's a project in the works to repave portions of the bypass, so maybe that's why the lines haven't been restriped. But certainly in the area of the bridge, I can contact DOT and see what the schedule for that paving and pavement marking replacement would be. I can't commit to you that I can get it done right now because unfortunately that's a state
I'm just
responsibility.
surprised because you go to these country roads, and unless that line has to be redone every so often, the sun probably beats on them, and the paint fades away, and it's dangerous.
I'll take it for action, sir, and we'll get DOT on it for sure.
All right,
I totally
okay.
agree with you,
Just wanted to
Theo.
bring it to your attention.
There are some areas here in the county that do need restriping, and Some of the
There's a
stuff is
lot.
faded, and some of the
There's a
intersections are as confusing as like, good God,
Yes.
we cheat death every day.
Sometimes
Yes,
there's
we gotta
logic
do
behind
something
that, and
about
others
it.
there's
That,
not.
that should be done on a regular basis.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank
That's all
you,
I
sir.
have.
Thank you, Theo. Bye.
Yeah, there's quite a bit that needs to be done, but unfortunately, we rely on the state Department of Transportation to
Well,
put it on the
They
list
got
and
to
do
get
it.
in line, and you know
Yep.
they'll answer. You know, sometimes a squeaky wheel gets a lot of attention. So
Yeah.
Well, and sometimes there's logic behind why
Sure.
the markings haven't been replaced. You know, they don't want to go out and put new markings down if they're going to resurface the road.
for sure.
You'd be surprised how expensive those lines
I'm
are.
not surprised. It's government.
I can imagine.
$50
It's always
toilet bolts
something.
and stuff like that. Yeah, I understand government.
Well, I'm so excited about this concept of this civic center, this
I
one
think
city
it's good.
place.
I think it's really good.
I think it's good, and I think we've grown so much. And I'm excited when I go across the street and look over there at the Amazon plant
Then we can
because
have-
that's going up overnight.
And there's going to be an uptown festival.
And Uptown, Uptown Festival yearly.
There you go.
We have all the vendors. We have sidewalk
There
artists.
was
everything.
at that place in Wilmington on Military Cutoff. They used to have every Friday night, I think, during the summertime. They had
Live
the summer live
Yes.
music. So
Oh, absolutely.
Well, we'll
bands
have an
came out.
outdoor amphitheater. So there you go.
There's going to be lots of really functional space
Oh,
on that
man.
property.
You
there
have
are a
a
lot of entertainers in the area that are looking for an outlet.
I bet our girl Salem
Of
is
course.
really busy right now thinking of all the things she can do to bring.
Bring it on.
Yes, bring it on. Oh, this is exciting for the city of Jacksonville.
Camilla, Georgia has a sand net festival. I kid thee not. Jacksonville? Nothing.
Yeah, I think we'll avoid the sand gnats.
That is something
No
unique.
sand nets, no skates. Let's come up with something cool.
I mean, honoring our veterans is an everyday thing
Of
around
course it
here.
is, and it should be.
What we just need something unique.
Not everybody is a veteran.
Mhm.
Well, I try
Very
to
true.
honor them every day.
Yeah, we
and,
do.
And, and-
You know, we've all got veteran connections. But
right,
Not
exactly.
everyone here is a veteran.
I want something different. Like, what was it we came up with not long ago?
I don't
It
know.
was some kind of festival idea.
If you
like-
were doing it with the battleship, you and Hool together,
No, I'm going to get that information for you. I'm not crazy. I know what I know.
get a second opinion.
Somebody said we need to have a geese festival. Our buddy Chris Miller said that.
Goose Poop Festival.
A geese festival.
Goose Poop Festival.
We don't need no.
We got. Did you bring the geese? You're gonna have.
No. Look at
What
what
a mess.
Swansboro went through.
You got a mess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We're gonna come up with
ugly
something.
duckling. There's been any alligators who got around here, an alligator
What is
festival.
Jacksonville known
We
for
could get the gator boys
besides
to
the
come here.
military? There is nothing. We have
Not
nothing.
yet.
What are we known for besides the military?
Barrows. Okay.
That's the North Carolina DOT state flower.
Barrows.
Those orange ones out on the road.
Barrels.
Oh, barrels.
Yeah.
I was talking about barrows, as
Yeah.
in Lee.
Technically, it's Barrows, but it's okay. That's why I didn't pick up on it. It's okay.
I wanted one of those barrels. Should have stolen it.
What you gonna do with it?
Nothing. Watch it.
So if you come up missing
Water
any,
it.
Anthony,
I would water it and see if it would grow.
Yeah, know where to look.
It's a flower. It should grow. Blooms all the time.
wow.
Oh my God!
Well, I'm
that
excited.
was Dodge Barrel for years. I went through Dodge Barrel because they moved it. That was the funny thing. I could drive from here to Piney Green, do something at Piney Green, go to dinner or whatever, and come back, and they moved the cones, and I'm like, what?
They're just messing with your
Yeah,
head. at
they
that
were.
Oh,
point.
I'll never forget
So I
Piney
just-
Green.
I just mowed them all down so they could come pick them up.
No, we didn't.
No, you didn't.
I just remember Piney Green when they had all the barrels on there,
Oh, I did
and you
too.
had to drive it at night in the rain. It was like an obstacle course. If you got through it, you got your license renewed for 15 years. It was
Kelly,
fun.
get your license renewed. Okay. Anthony,
All
thank
right.
you.
Oh, thank you
One
so
thing before I
much.
sign off, if you don't mind,
Sure.
there is some good
Oh,
news. I don't know
please,
if
yes.
you've talked to Ellie with the Jacksonville Ospreys.
Yeah, he
We had
was
one
in
recently.
here about 3 weeks ago, but
And
do tell us it may be
He told
something
you
new.
about the All-Star game.
Yes.
Yes.
Isn't that wonderful?
That is great.
Yes.
Absolutely
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah, well, it's also wonderful the partnership that we formed with the Ospreys.
We love
and-
the Ospreys.
and-
we promote them. Yeah.
We'll
And
have-
so
we'll
one
have
of the
more.
things that we're trying to do with that All-Star game is to bring the community out. I mean, you don't have to stay for the All-Star
Nope.
game, but with recreation
Just
and
get out
parks,
there.
well, we're going to have food trucks, we're going to have live music, we're going to turn
That's
the
what I'm
splash pad on, we're going to have
Yes.
lots of games and things of that nature. And that'll all be free to the public. So we really want
Cool.
people to
And when
come
is
out.
the All-Star game again? Was it the end of May?
It's
No,
June
it's-
27th.
Yeah,
Hey,
the
June,
season starts June 1 for them or thereabouts.
I had May on my mind. Okay, well, we definitely will have them in here several times before then, so we can talk about the All-Star game. But yeah, we're big promoters and supporters of the Ospreys.
I'm
a
thinking about-
wonderful
I'm still-
organization.
Yes.
I suggested have them a wooden bat made for one of their fun games with the, what do they call the Lejeune team? The Warriors or something like that. Anyway, there's a team out there they're going
Mhm.
to play. No league or anything like that. I suggested they get an M16 made out of wood, but instead I've come up with a better one.
Rayford's got all kinds of ideas.
I know, I can't
This
keep
is
up.
courtesy of our friend, the chief.
Oh, yes. Well, we
My
have a
pickaxe handle over there.
walking tall
The
stick.
walking tall
Oh,
sticks.
Okay.
How about making a baseball bat, making use of one of those as an Osprey baseball bat when we play that team? I got to talk to Ellie.
Yeah, you need to talk to
I'll
Ellie.
talk to
Ellie
Ellie
about that.
I think it'd be fun. I'll go get a pickaxe and
I just
have it
don't know.
decorated. What?
Yeah. And you want to make fun of me about my ship coming to Jacksonville.
Mine is doable.
I'm going to get you that. I'm gonna call Joe Hull this afternoon. Joe,
Yeah, I want
Where's
you
I
to
my
need to talk to
battleship?
him
I want to know
anyway.
what kind of boat that he's planning to bring here. He
Yeah.
ain't bringing no ship up the river.
No, it was some kind of, it's been a while back. It was back when they were first talking about building the Marine, the Museum of the Marine. It's been a while, yeah. Anthony, I'll
Don't-
send you the info too, because I know
Don't-
you're
don't
looking at me
challenge
like I'm
him.
crazy.
I mean, if you challenge Joe, he'll get it done.
Oh, yeah.
If you want a battleship, then challenge him.
We just saw him last week at the Reefs, the truck, the Reefs exhibition, Reefs Across America. He was there.
Uh-huh.
So, in fact, he did an interview on TV9. So,
Uh-huh.
you saw him, didn't you?
Uh-huh.
Great guy.
Yeah.
We have a lot of great people in this city.
He
and
didn't have a
county.
battleship on the back of his vehicle, though.
Would you stop,
All right, Andy.
Anthony?
Anthony, thank
That's
you.
my cue to go. Thank you very
I
much.
appreciate
I'm going to send you the info too.
Oh,
I'll send
Lord.
you all this stuff so you can put it on your
Yes,
please.
do that,
Yeah.
please. Because do you need these back?
No. No,
Okay,
no.
thank you very much
You're
for
welcome to keep all
what you
of
left.
this.
Yes.
Yep.
Send me the digital and I'll post it. This is very exciting for all of us.
It is very good.
All of Eastern North Carolina right here.
Mhm.
But Anthony, see you
Especially
next-
Onslow County, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to be bringing people in from other counties to come
Uh-huh.
in and for these special tournaments and shows and
Festival.
festivals that we're going to have, the Orange Barrel Festival. And, it's going to be great. Thank you so much for all your hard work and to all
Thank
those
you.
others in the city that have worked so hard. And thank you for Amazon.
I'm going to turn the mic off now. What do you think?
I think that might get you in trouble.
It's okay. So it would be the first time.
Got that T-shirt.
Don't forget your.
See ya.
Thank you.
It would be the
Anthony,
first
thank you.
time. Thank you.
Lord mercy, you.
That's a lot of
We've been
information.
talking a lot. You want to take a break and take some
Oh, yeah.
water?
Bye. No, I'll just go ahead. Cut me off for a
Just
while.
don't drink whatever Joe Hull was drinking when he was going to bring a battleship up the
I'm
river.
going to bring you that.
Offshore out to 20 nautical miles today. Southwesterly winds 10 to 15 knots, seas 3 to 4 feet, sounds and rivers of moderate chop. And at inlet, you got about 5 or 6 or 7 feet of water. The battleship draws 30. Southwesterly winds on Saturday, 10 to 15 knots, seas 3 to 4 feet, sounds and rivers of moderate chop. The inlet is still shallow. Sunday, southwesterly winds around 20 knots, gust to 25, seas 4 to 6 feet, sounds and rivers are going to be choppy.
And today will be cloudy, becoming mostly sunny with a high near 87. Southwest wind 7 to 11 miles per hour with gusts as high as 20. Tonight, mostly cloudy with a low around 63. Saturday, mostly sunny with a high near 85. Hot. Sunday, mostly sunny with a high near 85. And then Monday, showers mainly after 8 a.m. and 90% chance of showers for Monday. So we need them.
Yeah, we do.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, we'll get You wonder where the yellow went when you brush your teeth with.
Oh gosh.
Come on.
With
You'll wonder where the yellow went when you brush your teeth with.
Pepsodent? No.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
I got
Good
it.
gracious sakes. Poking the bear
What are you
is going to
trying to
hurt.
say?
Huh?
What are you trying to say? Why did
The
you come
yellow
up with that?
outside, the pollen.
Oh, I thought we were talking about teeth.
Poking the bear is going to hurt somebody.
Yes, it
That's
will.
what Maine is about to find out. The state has refused to stop trans male athletes from competing in women's sports.
Don't.
President Trump indicates he will carry out his promise to cut federal funding for the state. Whoops. USDA Secretary Brooks Rollins said the state must agree to protect female athletes from trans inclusion before funding is restored. Y'all going to lose a lot of money. And is it worth it?
It's like you said.
Does anyone else remember in the 1970s during the gasoline crisis, the 1974-ish gasoline crisis, the shortage that was manufactured, by the way, when the federal government mandated that all states reduce the speed limits to no more than 55 miles per hour? You remember that? We used to have 60 mile per hour speed zones throughout North Carolina. There were some highways that had 65, but 55 was a country road. 60 was normal. The federal government said to save gasoline, we're going to slow you down. 55 miles per hour, no more than.
I remember that, yes.
Vehicles, in most cases, burn more gas per mile at higher speeds.
Right.
That was the reason for it. When your 4-barrel carburetor kicks in at 62 miles per hour or whatever it's set up for, you lose a lot of gas mileage. You burn more gas to go 1 mile. The penalty for not reducing the federally mandated speed requirements, they said at that time in 1974, you're going to lose your federal highway funds. I don't recall any states putting up a fuss about that. They put up new speed limit signs, 55 miles per hour, all across North Carolina and every other state in the country. If anybody did not do that, I don't recall it, but they would have lost their federal funding. No
Right.
state could afford to lose their federal funding.
No, they couldn't.
Is it blackmail? Yeah. They do it. It's legal blackmail. They can do it. In addition, let's go back to Maine. The USDA has launched a full review of grants awarded by the Biden administration to the Maine Department of Education. All those grants that had been awarded by a previous administration to Maine, to the Department of Education, many of those grants appear to be wasteful, redundant, or otherwise against the priorities of the Trump administration. That's according to the USDA. So Maine, I hope it's worth it. The other 49 states, take note. Maine can't afford to lose that funding.
No, I wouldn't think so.
The other states cannot afford to lose that kind of funds either.
Yeah, you were talking about highway speed. What's the highest highway speed in the United States?
Legal?
Legal.
There's a couple of places where it is unlimited. There is no speed limit. And is it Wyoming, Montana,
I
or
don't know
somewhere
about
on
that.
a couple of states?
I know marked Highway 130 in Texas.
Is what? Is it 90?
It's at 85.
85? Okay.
It's a toll road, 85.
Yeah.
Do you feel comfortable driving that fast?
Me?
Yes. Would you feel comfortable?
Yeah. I've driven that fast many
Do
times.
you ever worry about what if I have a tire blowout or something? I'm going to die.
Check your
Yep.
tires.
Oh, here we go. The Jacksonville Historic Naval Ship Association plans to bring the USS Orlick, a retired U.S. Navy destroyer, to Jacksonville, North Carolina as a floating naval museum.
How big
The
is
ship
this
will be docked
battleship
at...
that is not?
Wait,
That's not a battleship.
Stop. The ship will be docked at the westernmost pier at the Jacksonville shipyards.
With the Jacksonville
We don't have a
shipyard.
Jacksonville ship. It says Jacksonville, North Carolina. I'm telling you now.
The USS what?
USS Orlick. Let's look him
Spell
up.
Orlick.
O-R
Okay, you got it so far.
L-E-C-K. No, they've got this. No, forget that one. That is wrong. Let's go
That
back.
had nothing to do with.
They've
what we're
got
doing,
that
right?
mixed up with Jacksonville, North Carolina.
That's why.
No, but there was one. Well, I'm gonna find you the one for Jacksonville, North Carolina, and we have Theo calling. Yeah.
Hey, Theo,
That
you
guy.
want to bring a battleship to Jacksonville?
No.
Good.
So deplorables, what's happening?
That's all about you.
Nothing much.
Yeah. So tell me again, who's going to lose the funding for what reason?
Maine's going to lose funding if Maine does not agree to stop allowing transgender, in other words, males who were born males to compete in women's sports.
So you're comparing the gas that millions of people are using to how many of those do you have every state? 3, 4?
I don't know what I'm comparing what to that. I'm sorry. The gas.
Yeah. You were talking about the gas when they were bringing down the speed limit to 55. Millions of people were supposed to save gas, and you're comparing this to a gender.
I'm just
that's
telling
maybe
you.
1 or 2 in the state. Is that what you're doing?
It's more than 1 or 2, but I'm just telling you what was going on, that the federal government did commit legal blackmail by telling every state, if they did not reduce their speed limit, put speed limit signs up to a maximum of 55 miles per hour, they would lose federal highway transportation funds. Trump has said the same thing.
Okay. So they brought the speed limit down, just like you said, in order to save gas. Millions of people were doing that. Okay, millions. You're comparing that now. He's going to stop funding for a whole state because there's 3 transgender people. Yeah. Is that fair?
I don't know.
Is that legal?
How many? Yes, it's legal. How many transgender people?
Come on. What are you talking about? For 3 different people? Or 4 people or 5? How many are there in Maine? How many do they have?
You ask if it's legal. Yes, it's an executive order. That is legal.
Okay. What I'm trying to say, he's going against Maine for spite, right? Is that why he's doing it? Because when he had his meeting and Maine spoke up, he embarrassed the woman because he called her out. Okay, he called her out and embarrassed her in front of the other governors. Okay, so she has 3 or 4 or 5, let's say 10 people in her state that cannot play in women's sports. So now he's going to do that, punish the whole state for that, right?
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Think about this. Forget about just 10 people or whatever number there are that you say that there may be. 3, 5, 10, 20. I don't know how many there are. Don't really care. Okay. It's the impact on the rest of the women who are playing sports that we're talking about, that he's talking about. We're talking about the other women who do not want born males competing against them because the born males are going to win. And they don't stand
They're not going to win.
They have
They're
won.
not going to win.
They've been winning left and right.
You don't know about transgender people. They're not going to win.
They've
That's
been
the
winning.
problem.
They've been winning.
Yeah, okay.
They've been setting records in women's sports already, and women who have got to compete against a record that was set by a man.
Okay, maybe 1 or 2 might win. There's a lot of them that won't win. You know how they act. You know how they feel.
They're not gay. They're transgender.
Okay.
There's a difference.
Listen. You're going to punish the whole state because of that. You can't come up with a solution.
I don't have a solution. I'm not coming up with anything.
All right. What you were talking about, millions of people cutting down so we can save gas compared to 3 people in the state, that's a big difference, like apples and oranges. Okay?
Right.
All right. I'll talk to you soon.
Goodbye.
What?
The whole thing is about what, as far as that's concerned, whether I agree with Donald Trump in this case or not, is irrelevant. I don't, it's not me. But what is being said, what he's saying and what others are saying, what women who are competing in sports are saying, it's not fair to have these who used to be men competing against us in our sport, in women's sports. There was a difference between women's sports and men's sport, okay?
Right.
The women basketball players, the men basketball players. There's a difference.
How about fencing? How do you feel about?
Fencing is a different story.
Well,
That
a female fencer just quit because in a tournament because she refused to go against
A male.
Male.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you feel about that?
Well, if she wants to quit, that's fine. But anyway, if that's, did they have separation of females and males?
Bathrooms?
No. Separation of male. I don't know about fencing. I mean, there's a couple of guys with some pig stickers out there.
Joe fences, Joe McLaughlin.
I know that.
Yeah.
But do men and women compete separately? That's the question. Normally, up until whatever is going on now.
I don't know. She took a knee though when it was her time to go out on the floor. She took a knee.
Mm-hmm.
She violated the International Fencing Federation rules prohibiting fencers from refusing to compete against another fencer.
That was her
But
choice.
like you said, does that specify
Do they?
male
I
or
do
female?
not know whether there is if they
Right.
separate them. I don't know about. I know nothing about fencing except they got
Don't know
a couple
either.
of big long ice picks there.
It's not my cup
They
of
try to
tea.
stick at each other.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yeah, I don't have a clue about any of that.
You know, Trump flew to Miami yesterday and
Take a plane.
he took Air Force One, boarded Marine One for the transfer to Palm Beach. And before they took off, they realized they had a mechanical issue. He had to change helicopters. It was a flat tire.
It's not unusual.
A flat tire, Marine One.
They have 3 Marine
Yeah.
Ones that are flying all together anyway.
But tires are important,
Yeah,
you know, so.
well, they don't drive on them very
Yeah,
well.
all the news, it was like huge breaking news. I'm like, really? It's like having a flat tire in your car. Should it be newsworthy?
Anybody not have one? I had 5 in
Yeah.
1 week.
Trump, the news headlines are Trump forced to abort helicopter after serious failure. That was the headlines yesterday. And it came down to they noticed the tire was flat when they got on.
Pump it up. Big deal.
Abort
We
because
got a
of
bunch of
the
politicians around here.
serious
It's hot air in it. Fill it up.
failure.
Well, flat tires, they do when they touch down or when they take off, they are going to be moving forward a bit and
Sure.
on a runway, on a regular asphalt or concrete runway. They're going to be moving along there. And the tires are important. You don't want one to overheat. A flat tire will overheat when you're moving forward in it.
Right.
Overheats, you got rubber. It catches fire, you got a problem. So it has potentially a very serious issue. But the reason you got backup, so you stop it.
True. My whole point was the media, the way they spun the story. Serious
You got to look for
failure.
something.
He was forced to abort his flight.
Got to look for something. Everybody's got to make news somehow or another. So you got, what do you got? Oh, you got the event tonight, the big event, and too bad y'all didn't get tickets because y'all could have won $10,000. And Lee, could you bring me my half tomorrow?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, tonight is the raffle for the Jacksonville High School graduation project.
It's a reverse raffle.
Graduation,
We're going to be
right.
standing up until the last of the
project.
pile.
Okay.
So when you get down to 2 people,
Right.
would you agree with the other one to split it?
I
Whoever?
think it's down to 4 people.
Oh, is it down to 4?
Usually it's down to 4 people.
Or-
And when you buy the ticket, you have to specify. I said yes, I would be willing to split it if I'm down to the last 4. And I pray that the other 3 with me don't want to split it and I win. So,
okay, whatever.
I mean, what can you do if the odds of you getting down to 4
It's pretty. That can happen.
and you put on there you didn't want to split it? I just know karma's going to come back and get me.
Yeah, there you go.
So,
Okay. So anyway, it's a great cause. Project Graduation. They do this, and it's a wonderful thing, and plan for next year as well. But the Project Graduation group they set up and they have a safe place, monitored, chaperones and all that sort of good stuff.
Right.
Not to crimp your style, but just to have a good, wholesome evening recreation. End of the year, you're out. You're going on to bigger and better things. That's what your plans are.
right.
And some of these things are going to be your last goodbyes to some of the people that are going to be in that class. I mean, I hate to look at it like that, but it's a fact of life. Maybe your best friends forever are going to be your best friends forever, but chances are, this is a big country. And a lot of the guys around here, a lot of people in classes are going to join up military. Opportunities are there if you're signing up to join any military branch these days. First of all, you got sign-on bonuses. You got you got a decent living wage, that's for sure. And not everybody goes into a shooting situation. You understand that, right?
That's right.
Not everybody's in
yes.
combat.
Exactly.
That's like kind of like cops. I mean, cops carry guns every day, and after 20 years or so, how many times have they ever had to pull it and pull the trigger? How many of them? Extremely few. Almost never. That's the way it is. You just don't get into that kind of stuff. The potential is there. The potential to drive from here to your house is, we know how traffic is for a crash, a wreck.
Right. We do.
A lot less for a
Absolutely.
meteorite falling and hitting your car.
Don't say that.
Or part of the International Space Station coming off.
I watched SpaceX shoot off another rocket last night with more satellites.
Well, they're going to put too many holes up there. We're just going
I'm
to lose
just
all of
like-
our air if they keep doing that.
One man has got so many satellites over top of us.
I hope they
I
stay.
need to invest in his company.
I hope they stay up there.
Who's going to take them down?
Well, Russia, China.
They're using the same satellites. I mean, look at the astronauts he just sent up.
Tell them to use their own.
All 4 from different countries.
Okay, next week, who do we have on tap?
Working on it. I got
one I'll give you.
Okay, good.
And,
I have several that have yet to confirm, but hopefully next week, yes.
Yeah, there's something that's always a sad situation, and that's people who die by their own
Yes.
hand, self-inflicted.
Very sad.
It's dealt with a bunch of them over the decades. It's bad, but there are things out there, and we're gonna work to talk with a lady who's at the health department here in Oslo County, who's
Excellent.
really working on bringing awareness to this this dilemma we have. It's not a pandemic, but just in this country alone, every day of the week, today, there will be 22 American veterans who will commit suicide. Today.
You think about those
22 every day.
that have left their home and they've been gone for a year.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less.
Mhm.
They've been on the front lines. They have experienced watching their partners, their brothers being shot and killed.
Mhm.
Maybe they have shot and killed someone.
Mhm.
That's a lot to take home with you.
Well, not only that, then you got to try to figure out and get back into real society, the regular society, and
Yes.
they'll say, put that behind you. Well,
Right.
just put that behind you. You cannot put it behind you. You can try to look forward. That's the key. Looking forward, look forward, look forward. There's something
Right.
better ahead.
After 20-25 years of a very strict regiment, you
Mhm.
know, and then to retire and
Well, not
I
the
imagine it's a
retirement. I'm
huge
talking about
adjustment.
veterans. We're talking about guys who spend 2 or 3 or 4 years in service and come back and still they can't deal with it.
right. Well, yes, that too. Yes.
So they are veterans of all ages, all amounts of time in service. It's not the military that does it to you, but is there something else that the military could do to help you on your way out of the branches? They try. They've got plans. They got programs. Unfortunately, so many people don't take advantage of it because so many people, hardened,
Then we're
really
back-
hardened warriors out there. You're tough. You're tough.
Then we're back to
tough.
having to deal with the VA.
And then, but you are tough. You're a warrior. You're not going to admit it. In too many cases, they don't
That's what I'm
admit
talking
anything.
about. They've lived such a
But you've
disciplined life.
You've got to accept that you're going to be different. Now, you're getting some help that's going to be another problem, sometimes another issue, but there is help available.
Do you really think that the majority that sign up to enter into the military has any clue what they're actually going to be doing?
No.
And seeing?
No.
And experiencing?
No.
Good news, though. Do you ever watch Dr. Oz on TV?
Nope.
Guess what? He is now been confirmed to take the lead of the Medicare and Medicaid agency for the government. Dr. Oz. You ever watched his television shows?
Nope.
He's like a Dr. Phil, but he doesn't
Nope.
do psychiatry. He does medical.
I didn't like Dr. Phil.
I was never a huge fan of Dr. Phil.
No.
No.
Anybody named Oz, I have problems with.
Wow. It's got a dog named Toto.
Okay, guys, we will see you bright and early on Monday. Another day of yellow, but hope by then maybe a lot of that yellow will be gone.
Hopefully Monday. Yes,
Yeah.
so they're talking all day rain.
I'm going to take a ride down to Wilmington near Riceville Beach today and take a look at some flowers. Guess what kind of flowers? I'm going to be looking. I got to take my camera.
Azaleas?
Azaleas.
Azaleas.
That's what we
there
used to
you
call
go.
them. Azaleas.
I want some of those
full bloom.
Confederate.
Huh?
The Confederate flowers you have out there.
I got a Confederate rose out there and
Yes.
something else called a Confederate rose over here, different breed.
Beautiful.
The yellow ones are the official Confederate rose, and then this one is something it becomes a tree. It has
Shut
become a
your
tree.
yard down. Yes.
So
And it's almost time to get your gardens ready and start planting.
it is time to get them ready. Don't plant them yet. There is a possibility of some cold weather next week. And
Yes.
do not put your plants out this weekend. As tempting as it is, I've got a bunch I've got to do, but I'm going to wait until the end of next week because that will be Good Friday.
Right. They'll leave a message.
That's when you're
Yes.
supposed to do it. Have a great weekend. We will see you Monday morning. You're live and local Real Talk, where we are always awake and we are never
Woke. I'm just
That was
so
your
used to you doing it.
That was
you
your
know?
cue. We'll see you Monday. Have a great weekend.
Okay.